Yeah, baby. Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithms. No statistician could dissuade me from my bigger vision. I know my occupation's quite an unlikely place in this world to occupy and talk about upon a daily basis. Our information's predetermined by some biased business. We all in sermon to Silicon that push out lovely neighbors. I'm done with paper chasing, think I'm on to bigger banquets. This that full circle, new wave, energy on a Tuesday. Turn a blue day to a bright hue, yellow with a smooth A in hair, extra fruite the brain. You can't move me, the music is mad. It's a con job, but it's grand. I'm blessed with a great hand amongst many that stank. And yeah, it took some hard work, but blind luck play a huge role. And they say that it don't, when they're feeding you fool's gold. And if I know one thing, the truth's home. Even if it's a tough thing to swallow, an even harder thing to hold and truly know without a doubt while on the globe. Even though that seems inherent, it ain't always so apparent. Dangle carrot, you ain't always gonna get it. But don't worry, it's a pretty February in a year with more to carry and more days is yet to come. Under the sun, taking the ferry to the city where the moment's extra pretty, like the people, like the idea that I keep inside my brain that isn't equal to the real world. All that stress ain't saving me, fear though. I swear to God I'm trying. But they pushing their demons down my esophagus, screaming the easy life, what I want always. Praise made up holidays, tell me that love is the answer just to boost this economy. Buy more sell now, but I ain't following. I ain't a hollow man, I'm fuller than fall winds. Take it all with a tall grin, and if you feel it, do it with me, and just sing what the song says. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so big. So big, so big, so big. Take it all for what it is. What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It ain't all so big. It ain't all so big.
Hello, hello, hello. Guess what, guys? It's Good Friday. I am SB, and this is Unsolicited. And again, thank you so much for being here. Y'all listen. We've been having, this is Good Friday. Good Fridays are always good. I don't even know why, but you guys are just doing what you're supposed to do. You're showing up. I appreciate you so much. I hope all of you are having an outstanding day. We have an outstanding show for you, definitely. But before we get into it, I want to share with you some things that are happening, as always. And of course, I'm going to say hello to all of you that are here in the chat. And remember, when you're coming into the live, make sure you're giving me the thumbs up. I would appreciate it so very much. And first things first, again, outstanding show today. It's the comedian called out. How about that? The comedian called out. And y'all know what that's all about. Y'all know what that's all about. But before we do that, let's get started. Tomorrow is Saturday. We will not have a show tomorrow, but on Sunday, the Standard is here. The Standard is here, and Cheeky Banter will be the young man that is speaking on Sunday's show. It will be Sunday at 6 p.m. So make sure, 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure that you all are here for the Standard. Also, yeah, y'all, it's coming back. It's here. It's coming back. It is I Choose You. And this time, you know, we have a bachelor. And just in case you all don't know him, I need for you all to go check him out. But it is J.R. Wisdom. J.R. Wisdom is a content creator. He has an outstanding platform. I need y'all to go check out J.R. Wisdom. Check out his platform. Lots of followers. He is the bachelor for this coming second half of the first season. J.R. Wisdom. And what we're going to do is we're taking applications. Go to sbshow2020 at gmail.com, ladies. Go put in your application. Go do it. You know, not official application. Just let me know that you have some interest. And I will chime back in with you to find out what your availability is, what you're looking for. And we're going to get started on this thing. J.R. Wisdom is the bachelor for the second half of I Choose You first season. So y'all get ready for that. Now, what we decided to do is we're going to do the Bachelor or I Choose You on Saturday nights. We're going to take applications or, gather information, find our bachelorettes during the month of June. And then in August, we will officially start the second half of I Choose You, where the bachelor gets to pick his bachelorette. So y'all got to stay tuned for that. That's going to be some good stuff, y'all. It's going to be good. And I ain't going to I can't even begin to discuss all the twists and turns that I have planned or that me and Aaron have planned. Y'all, it's going to be exciting. So I need y'all to be there. You just got to be there. So you know it. Now, is there something else I didn't tell you yet? But again, Sunday we have the standard at 6 p.m. Eastern. Monday, of course, I'm back here. I'm black. Y'all know I'm black. I'm back here, though, with the Black Man at 7:30. I'm not giving any topics, but I want you all here at 7:30 on Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. And then again, J.R. Wisdom is the Bachelor for the second half of I Choose You, season number 1. So listen, I'm going to say hello to a couple of people, and then we're going to get into it. Y'all know I got to tell my stories. I actually had a comment that I was supposed to address today, but Monique went and did her thing and she just took all the shine. So I'm going to give it to her and then maybe I'll get to my comment another day. But first off, I'm going to say hello to a few people in the chat. Listen, I hope you all are doing well. Stephen Day, how are you? The Beautiful Lie. Thank you. How are you? Brittany B. Brittany, does this mean you're at work or are you able to come chat with us today? I hope so. Sir Hale, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for being here. Sir Hale has given us a $19.99 super chat before the show even got started. Does that mean you want to start with the money line?
Money line.
I hear you. Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Money line.
I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sir Hale, for that $19.99 super chat. And it's a way to get the show started. I appreciate that so much. Hey, how are you doing, Aaron? Hope you're doing well. You ain't married yet. Aaron, I don't know what you waiting on. What you want me to? You want me to get some license so I can bless your union? You think I can do that? You want me to marry you? That means it's going to last forever. I got you, Aaron. Alina, hello. How are you? Fancy Ketchup. Hello. How you doing? Good to see you guys so much. It's good to see you. Ika, we're Bob at work, but tell him hello. We're going to be there, though. He might catch a little bit of the show. Probably catch a lot of the show. But listen, Mel, how you doing? Mel, we're going to have to talk to you a little bit later. I hope you got a camera this week. I know you like to add some stuff. My father's son, hello. How are you? Brittany, you at work? Okay. It's okay. We enjoyed you last week, but as long as you're tuning in, it's all right. It's all good. Let's see who else we got. Maybe, is that it? All right. Then so listen. Hello, guys. Listen, when you come in, make sure you continue to hit that like button. And I got a few things. I'm going to share a story with you because, Rick Judah, how you doing? I'm going to share this story because y'all know I usually don't go after celebrity, I ain't going to call it gossip, but celebrity news. Let's just call it that. But this was a time that something struck me pretty well because celebrities, y'all, some content creators act like they the neighbors. They know what's going on in the house. They know what happened. I mean, Will and Jada, y'all, we might as well know them personally the way people have, told us all about their lives, both sides and all upside down and everything. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to turn into a celebrity gossiper because, again, we have our own lives to live and to lead. And I just prefer to do it that way. But this right here struck me as rather strange because we all know who Monique is. And a few years back, Monique did a video. And she said that she was in a situation. She was actually in Atlanta. And I was like rooting for her because she's older than me, but she auntie, and if a woman that has celebrity can actually speak to people, to young people and turn them around, I have some influence on them and they listen. I mean, that's outstanding to me. It's very much outstanding. So I'm going to bring the story to you my way. And what we're calling it is Chameleon Called Out because right now, I'm not sure who Monique is because It started out one way, and we're gonna let her tell her story, y'all. So I'm not gonna give all my opinion on what I think is going on. I'm gonna let her tell you in her own words what her intentions are, and then we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna see if it's good or if it's bad, or if she just pulling our legs. We're gonna call it out, put it like that. So listen, we're gonna start with the one video where she initially spoke about the young people with the bonnets on. And she's going to share with us the reason why she talked to them and her purpose for sharing with these people, her thoughts, why she feels like she needed to share with them the reason for not wearing the bonnet. So just stand by for this.
And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself. And I'm not saying no full face of makeup. I'm not saying no full front lace frontal. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? And if you don't want to comb your hair, they got enough shit out here now, baby, where you can style yourself up and look like you have pride. I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing, someone would have to ask you to know that you had it. So my sweet babies, for the ones that do call me auntie, I love you for real. Even the ones that don't, I love y'all asses too. But the babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you.
I hope y'all heard that. It all sounded real good. In the airport, I was in Atlanta and I saw so many, even in the grocery store. Right now, we're not having any representation of pride. The last thing she said was always have pride in your representation of you. Always have pride in the representation of you. Y'all, this is interesting because I agree with her totally. Would I have done a video about women wearing bonnets? Probably not, because you kind of defeated, and you're mostly defeated because you have people like this that say things but then do another. So I want y'all to pay attention though. Back then when she was giving her explanation on why she wanted them not to wear the bonnets, not the pajama bottoms and things of that nature, she wanted them to have pride. But did y'all check out the sweet baby and the voice, the tone, how calming and pleasing and welcoming it was? So calm. She was such the auntie. I was even listening to her. But we're gonna continue, because this brings us to where we are now. The other day, y'all know what's going on now. The other day she had, last weekend in Detroit, she had a show with D.L. Hughley. And y'all, it was amazing, the show. I mean, the show wasn't, I didn't see the show. Let me say this correctly. The snippet of the show that I saw, I need y'all to check for pride in your representation at all times. I need y'all to check for this. I need y'all to look. I need y'all to pay attention. And I need y'all to figure out what's going on, what happened. And we're going to talk about it. So y'all get ready for this and just, try to put this together and follow what I'm saying, because she's a married woman. So for me to say she's a chameleon in the sense that, we say it on YouTube, it may not even apply because she's not looking for a man. Well, I don't know that, but she's a married woman. But in the definition of a chameleon, where you can change your color and your stripes or what have you, she got it right. So go ahead, one moment, listen to this part, and then we're going to go from there.
And you think because I don't have a dick, that ain't my position, nigga! So when I leave this motherfucker, the headliner has left.
Hey. All right, Sir Hill, if you're in the chat, the first thing she did was went for the man's part, his body part. Did you hear that? Y'all just keep listening. I need y'all to listen to this. This is the first thing she did. Just give us a second.
And because their names, nigga, your name is DL. What the fuck does it stand for? How far you bending over, nigga, on the DL? You fuck with the wrong one? That's my family, nigga. I'm home, nigga. I'm motherfucking home, yo. I go all the way back with Coco in the motherfucking lounge in the back of the bar when they was cooking motherfucking fried fish, bitch. That's me, nigga. That's
Of that. So y'all can imagine exactly what I'm saying about pride and a representation of yourself. She did a terrible job. Well, I'm going to say she did a terrible job representing herself. She did. And you know, I can understand when somebody is upset. Let me give y'all a story. Let's just take a minute because I can understand a woman, black woman, white woman, a woman, period, being pushed, upset, feeling picked on, and all of that. I'm gonna just give y'all a quick story, and we're gonna get back into it because I don't want y'all to forget. But remember, last Friday on SB Nation, I told you guys that we're gonna slow down and we're gonna listen and we're gonna hear and we're gonna have empathy and compassion for people and what they're going through. Now, y'all heard her back a couple years ago talking to the sweeties and the sweet babies about the bonnets. And we heard her. We heard exactly what she said and all of that. And then we heard her from Saturday night. The tone has changed. She's very aggressive. So we automatically know. Y'all already y'all know the backstory, right? But we're going to get to the backstory again. So we kind of doing it backwards. But I'm not talking so much about what she did to DL. I'm talking about her as the woman, as the leader, as in far as the elder. I'm talking about she's leading these women. Back in, well, I don't know the year, when she talked about the bonnets, she also mentioned that, you know, some of y'all call me auntie. They're saying that they look up to her. You know, she says she didn't ask for the position, but some do. So she's an example, or she was an example for women. She wanted women to listen to her, young girls to listen to her and basically do what she do. She didn't say it all that way, but she was saying, I need y'all to have pride. I need you to have pride, and pride in your representation and how you show up. So that's how she showed up the other night, right? So my story is this: one day, and the reason why I'm giving her this little bit of a out, because for one moment, that was about a 10-minute rant that she did, guys. About 10-minute rant about her and DL and her being the headliner and things of that nature. But again, I'm not even going there, because when we get to the next video, you're going to understand why. That's not even my concern, because she said it wasn't hers. So I'm gonna go back. The reason why I'm sharing this story, because I do know and can feel being picked on. I used to be that person somewhat. I'm used to use the word sensitive, that I used to hear things that people were not saying. You know, have y'all ever met someone like that? You know, it's a real thing. You know, people say one thing, but they mean another. But I was always tuned into what they didn't say. And at one time I cared a lot, and I would ask, so what are you saying? You know, so again, that would make me very highly sensitive, right? And when you're highly sensitive, maybe you would respond. But before I get into it, let's do this super chat. Linus, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. You get the money line song.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
Money line,
I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
yeah, yeah. So let me just share this with you, because I need y'all to understand something. Monique is a real person. I'm a real woman. We're both real women. She's a little older than me, but I understand things, right? So it's been some years back. I can't even tell you how long, but it's been some time ago. I was exercising. And if y'all have been around me at SB Nation long enough to know that I'd like to walk. I do 3 and 4 mile walks, try to do it 4 times a week or what have you. That's what I love to do, walk. When I'm walking, I'm deprogramming, I'm thinking, I'm just loving it, right? So at the end of my walk one day, I went into a grocery store. I was going to pick up something on the way home. And wasn't paying no attention to nothing, y'all. I was feeling good. I was walking. I was good. So I went over to like the produce area where you have, and it may not be produce, you might call it something else, but we have orange juice and things of that nature. And I had my little cart there, and I was just doing what I had to do. And there was a lot of people in the store, but I wasn't bothering anybody. And out of nowhere, this woman kind of approached me. But before she approached me, she took my little cart with my purse in it, my little, not purse so much, but little money thing, and she pushed it away as though she was maybe stealing it, running away, or what have you. But she wasn't stealing it. But she said, she looked over at me and she said, basically, this is in my way. That ain't what she said, y'all. But she said, this is in my way, and pushed it away as though I did something to her. I didn't know this woman, hadn't seen this woman, wouldn't pay her no attention at all. Now, I don't know if she knew that or not, but that was the truth. I never paid the woman any attention. So my first response, I'm looked over and I'm like, what are you doing? Now, by this time, this woman has jumped into my face. We about this close. Yeah. Now, I haven't done anything. I hadn't had a chance to get angry or anything, but she was that close. Spitting on me, not spitting, but, talking so much that, and she was telling me that she knew who I was. I know the kind of woman you are. And I this and I that. And she was just going on and on and on, y'all. She was just letting me have it. And I had no idea what it was about. But by this time, I'm upset. I'm hot. I really am, y'all. I'm angry. And I began to respond to this woman. I did. I was getting ready to hurt this woman. I had my hands in a position to hurt her. It was going right around her neck. I am not going to lie to you all. Right around her neck. That's where I was going, because I couldn't believe how I was being picked on and I did nothing. And I don't know if any one of y'all have ever felt that before, but if you were in a position and you've done nothing if you just walked in and somebody just started on you and you just went on, you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea. So I just began to go in. And then at this time, a young man came, one of the young men that work in the grocery store, and he's like, no, he stopped it. But y'all, right at that moment when he was stopping me from choking this lady, because I lost myself. I'm being totally honest. I lost all of me. I saw me being in the back of a police car, handcuffed, and losing everything. I really did. I was getting ready to lose everything. But right then he shook me to the point where I knew that I'm back. But I lost it. I was getting ready to choke this woman. And I promise y'all, I was not going to stop. I wasn't going to stop. I was going to hold her responsible for everything that happened in my life to that point up. And I felt it because I felt so picked on and so angry that I could not help myself. But he came and he got me out of it. And I was getting ready to lose everything, because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. The optics was not good. I was a Black woman, athletic, in workout clothes. And this was a little white woman, y'all. I hate to say that, but it was. And everybody in that store that was on that back aisle saw what she did. And they were like, no, ma'am, I saw it. I see what she did. It wouldn't have mattered, guys. It wouldn't have mattered. I lost all pride. I was awful that day. I was awful. And I felt as a victim. I felt picked on. All of that was so true for me that day. It was. And my life was definitely, the life I have now was getting ready to be over. And it was going to be because I choked this woman. It was not going to look good. I don't care what none of those people would have said. She was in your face. I saw her doing it. And she was going to steal your purse or whatever. I don't know what she was going to do. They all was in agreement to what happened or what transpired up until this point. But if I would have had an opportunity to do what I did, I would have lost completely. Now, this is where I am with Monique. She explained to the young people about pride and your representation and how you want to show up in this world and how it's important to make sure people see you having pride in yourself. And then she turns around and then she talks trash. Now, y'all, I didn't even want to let you all hear, not from over here. Y'all can go to YouTube and hear it, but not from over here at SB Nation. Hear the things that she was saying, all the coons that she was calling them, all the measuring of male parts she was doing, all the DL jokes, and she goes on and she goes on. There was no pride in that. That was insult, total insult. And it didn't make any sense because in that moment, we actually thought it was about her being the headliner, right? So after all that happened and I'm gasping like, what? What did she say? Did she really say that? You would have thought that DL came and knocked over her head, did something to her. You would have thought it. And I did, because she was straight up the victim at the time. She really was. So before we go on, let me do this. Hey, Uncle Stu, how are you doing? Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. And thank you for being here. So after that was said and done, I was very, very much so done with Monique. Not even that I've even done anything with Monique, but I was really, really done with her at this time. But someone texted me or sent to me, emailed me a live of her and her husband. And I was happy again because I was like, okay. She made a mistake, just like I was getting ready to make. She's getting ready to apologize for it. And it's going to be cool. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. She's going to do live and it's her and her husband. Oh, this is bad. This is good. You know, bad isn't good. So I tuned into it. And do y'all know, if y'all don't know, Miss Monique doubled down on the language and the image and the representation that she gave of a Black woman that Saturday night. She doubled down on it. And you know what else? She talked about how encouraging the audience was and the standing ovation that she got on the way in and on the way out. So y'all, you know what? We learning every day. We are learning every day. And that's why I said, let's slow down. Let's just slow down and pay attention. Because I had empathy for this woman because I felt like, she was a victim. I felt that way, even though I didn't feel like she really was. I felt like she was. So I'm like, but then she started going off. Then I'm like, it didn't have to be this way. So now I'm standing back, I'm looking. Then I'm tuning back into Auntie with the bonnets and I'm thinking something's going on. But then, okay, we're back on the right track because anybody can make a mistake. Anybody can make a mistake. I told y'all I was in the process of making a big one. But I would have always apologized. She didn't. She doubled down on it. So I want y'all to walk with me for this. So we have some little clips with her and her husband where I thought was going to be the great apology. Let's take a look at it. Which one? So
I was on that stage saying what I was saying. Let me be clear. It was intentional. It was intentional. The contract situation and the headliner situation.
Okay, guys, listen. Those first words that she said this was intentional. Intentional, y'all. She got up there and said those things that she said and did were intentional. So guess what? The victim is gone. She's saying that she did this to this man. Forget the man. She says she responded and acted this way intentionally. She wanted this to happen. She wanted this to happen. So I'm right now wondering, why would you even bother telling somebody about pride and not to wear bonnets and how they show up in their representation? If you're going to say the way you responded to whatever situation was on Saturday night was intentional. So let's continue to listen.
You're not. Some time ago when D.L. Hughley, he still has his radio show, and they called me to do an interview. I go on to do the interview, and I'm getting interviewed by the sister Jasmine, and I can't remember the other gentlemen that were in the room. It was one of his producers, and it was another gentleman on the radio. And please forgive me, I can't remember their names. So we're having a great time doing this interview. Well, when we get to the end of the interview, the sister Jasmine says, "Hey, Monique, would you like to play a game?" And I said, "Okay, sis, let's play the game." Well, when she said the game is called Would You Rather. So I said, okay, I'm down for it. And then the sister says to me, "Would you rather your husband sleeps with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens without one?"
Breathe that in for a sec.
All right, guys. Not only did she say she was intentional, she goes on to say that this situation with the contract, her being the headliner, she basically said none of that mattered. She was getting him for something that happened in the past. She went on to say that, his radio show, she was on his show, and Jasmine, the young lady on his show, asked her, "What would you like to play a game?" And the game was Would You Rather. Now, you listen, y'all, I don't like talking about married people because y'all know ultimately I want all people to be married, because I just think that's where life is in being married. Everybody won't be married, but the question was, would you rather? Now, y'all got to hear these questions because it's got me just like, what? But the question was, would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with a condom or Corinne Steffens? Okay, so listen, y'all. Everybody know her husband is her husband. He's a man. And they're asking, she's saying the question is, would you rather your husband sleep with another man or a woman? And I think this young lady, had a little something with Trey Songz or someone else. But either way, another woman, period. Now, I know, and y'all probably too have heard about Monique talk about her in her open marriage and things of that nature. And I'm not going to even get into that. What she and her husband decides to do is what they decide to do. So that's what makes me question this. Because for me, this is very, very offensive. Very, very offensive. Her husband is not gay. Why would somebody say that? But the most important thing about this that she mentioned is that this was something that Jasmine did. She said that DL wasn't even there. He wasn't there. He wasn't even there, y'all. She said this came from Jasmine, and she agreed to play this game. Now, was it offensive? Absolutely. It's very offensive to me. But when you say things to people like, I have an open marriage and we do this and we do that, I really don't know. I don't know what the expectation is. But, and then she's a comedian. Like she said, she justified her saying the DL things and all that stuff about DL. She justified that as being a comedic, roasting. And then she picked at him about being tender. So, I don't know. Is it good enough for you, but not good enough for him? I'm not really sure about that. I don't really care. But what she said that was most important is that she's getting him for that. She went all the way back there. Now, I don't know, because she didn't give a time, date, or anything, year, or anything about when it happened. But she said in the past. And she said also, even though he wasn't there, she called DL and said, listen, this is what's going on at your spot. I need you to fix it. And told them what they said and everything. And she said, DL said, that's not, so what? What is what it is. And she suggested, I suggest you don't play it. And he said, okay, I won't. Well, wait a minute. Let me say this. I wasn't there. I didn't hear him say, okay, I won't, but we never seen it. We never saw the tape or the show. And I don't think he ever played it. And she said they never played it. So we're going to have to accept her one side on how that played out. But the point I'm trying to make, y'all, is she's been holding this since then. And how long has that been? What are we doing now? And remember, y'all, I told y'all to slow down because we have to have empathy and compassion for people that are hurting or they got some issues, because she said it was in the past, y'all. And then I'm wondering about this the whole time. I'm like, they asked a question pertaining to your husband. It offended you, because that's what she said. But you wouldn't allow your husband to take care of it? You wouldn't allow him to talk to DL or, say something about it? We just went on 10 or 20 years ago. So y'all telling me that this woman has held on to something that happened with someone's assistant for maybe up to 20 years, and she picked a night to come after him because of that? Oh, we should be getting scared right now, because this is real. Up to 20 years. That length of time she been salivating and boiling and that angry with this man that she picked that night. Because guess what? She could have said, no, I don't even want to be on a ticket with him at the Fox Theater. I'm not participating here because he don't do me. I don't like him. She actually said it. He's done a world tour talking about Monique and how terrible I am. So why would you even want to be around him? But the point I'm trying to make, guys, is this young man just said it was been 10 to 20 years ago that happened. And she's that upset with him that she's brought it into current date. And he wasn't even there. Okay, he wasn't there. So we're going to continue to play it. And I want y'all to listen to some other things that she had to say.
So let's go to the skateboard.
Okay, so listen, let me tell y'all something. There's some other things I wanted y'all to know about this, but the one thing I wanted y'all to have as a takeaway, now this is for young women. The way Monique spoke about DL, and she said, made the DL jokes, made the penis jokes, and she spoke very negative about that. Now, Monique has covering. When I say she has covering, I mean she has celebrity covering. She's not going to be everywhere. She might be in the airport, but it's going to be 4 or 5 other people around her protecting her. She's not going to be just walking down the street, or if she is, it's going to be somebody riding down the street behind her or what have you. She's going to have those type of protections where the person she's speaking about or whomever she's talking to will not be able to get at her. But this is a very dangerous message that we're telling, or that she's putting out. I ain't gonna even say she's putting out, that she's demonstrated for young women, because what she's saying is when somebody does something, when a man does something that you don't like, you can actually attack him verbally, and you can talk about his body parts. You can talk about his mama. You can talk about his wife. You can say anything you want, and you can walk away. But I'm going to show y'all a video. I'm going to show y'all a quick video on where a young lady decided to do this. And I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to show you what can actually happen. Now, see, look, I hate that video. I hate that video. I wish that little boy went to prison for hitting that girl like that. I hate it. I hate that video. But I'm needed to go all the way to the left with you all, ladies, because that is a real video. And if you go into someone's face and you disrespecting them like that, and you just calling them out the way Monique just did, they will attack you, because guess what? That chivalry thing that's been taught when we were younger, it's no longer being taught. Men don't care. Young men don't care about women no more, y'all. Was that a skateboard? It was definitely a skateboard. He knocked her out and he left her. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. This is a terrible message. And instead of her apologizing and saying, young ladies, please don't do this. Don't do this. She didn't. She doubled down on it. She did. Now, she spoke about the standing ovation. I told y'all about that. And then she went back into her, when I thought she was going to give an apology, y'all, I thought she was going to say, listen, please don't do this. I did this. I was hurt. I was a victim. But instead, she went on to tell us how it wasn't even about the contract. It wasn't about that. This goes on. This went back to him way back 10 to 20 years ago. Jasmine asking me, do I want to play a game? Y'all, she made that. She justified it. She justified all of that. And then her husband, and I don't know, I guess we're not going to be able to play the rest of the videos, but her husband, he goes on to say he's going to put out a pledge to women. He's going to tell them about their femininity, And they tell them how weak they are if they're going to take stuff from this, excuse me, take stuff like this from men. And then he going to say, men, how weak you are if you don't, if you stop your woman, or, you know, it was terrible. They talked about, listen, one thing that we have learned, if y'all watched The Standard last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but last Sunday, y'all understand femininity. One big part of it is having self-control. Monique showed no self-control, even if it was about the contract, which she said it wasn't. Even if it was about her headlining, which she said it wasn't. She was waiting to hand DL his ass, is what she said. Now, this is a woman with a husband. She was waiting to hand him his ass, and been waiting 10 to 20 years. Y'all, come on, what is this? What is this? And she went on to say that she was upset with DL on his world tour because he said things about her being bitter, her being angry, her being a lot of things. And that was really, having mental illness and things of that nature. So that was why she was so upset with him. Just him not being down for her, and him understanding about how Tyler Perry felt, how Oprah felt, how Steve Harvey felt. She even went on to talk about that, which really doesn't matter because I'm talking about her behavior. She is bitter. She is very angry, because if you hold something for 10 to 20 years, you more than angry. And is that even true? I don't even believe that, y'all. She ain't hold it. Come on. She saw opportunity, and then she's going to feed us what she wants to feed us so we can be like, oh, you're still the victim. But I'm still having empathy for her. I'm still like, okay, something is wrong. Something is going on. Something is not right. And then she's still talking to her husband, that's sweet babies. And I love you, sweetie. So now this voice has come back, this real sweet, innocent, calm voice. No aggression is here now. And daddy's here with her. And I don't care about no woman calling her man daddy. Do what you want. I mean, I'm good with it, actually. If you want to call your man daddy, do it, you know. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wow. And then he's continually talking. And I never heard him say anything about how he covered her or how he went in and for her rescue. So it's almost like all this was planned, guys. All the plan for this kind of recognition, for us to be talking about it like this, for the crowd to give her a standing ovation. And I'm wondering about this crowd, because what it means, guys, is that even though you all men want women who are feminine, want women who are submissive and want to be married, you know, fact of the matter is we happen to get more praise when we act a fool. Yeah. When we're fighting, when we're cussing you out, especially as Black women, we actually gain more. We gain a whole lot more. So how in the world are we going to get on one accord when people are poor? She said they gave her a standing ovation coming in and going out. They appreciated the fact that she talked and spoke that way as a Black woman about another Black man. Now, she could love and reverence her husband, and they said they were looking for inner peace. Where's the inner peace and the love and the reverence for a Black man? Now, unless she's trying to tell her she can only do that for daddy, which is her husband. And if that's the case, we got another problem, because that's not right. We're supposed to do it for all men, for all people, love. Now, inner peace, there was no inner peace. Now, there was a couple things I want to share with you all that he said that was very, very interesting. He was telling a story about her being on the Parkers. And in him telling that story, he was basically saying, this is why they don't like her. But he slid something else in, and I don't even know if he knew he said it. He said, she's difficult. Daddy said she's difficult. Now, the man that you love and reverence, and you talking this soft voice with, and you showing him you love him, and I don't know if you all fighting or not, but you're doing whatever you got to do to please him and have him as your husband. He even said, and I don't know if he realized he said it, but he said she's difficult. Who? Difficult. That's a big deal, y'all. Why do we have to be difficult? Can it not just be okay sometimes? Sometimes can it be okay? He said not. He said she's difficult. This is why they have a problem, because she's difficult. So that was the first thing that I heard that was like, wow. That's interesting. And then she continues to talk in this calm voice. And he said something else, y'all, that was very, very devastating. And it just brings me to where we are. But before we get there, though, I'm going to tell you about a little story. Not a little story, but the other day, I think it might have been Monday, we had a show. And on that show, we talked about how, I think it was Information Man, and it was Jay Speed. Information Man shared a story about mental illness. I mean, he's clinical, so he can say things like that, and how it's overlooked, and sometimes how our brains are not developed, our brains are not developed to a certain age and what have you. See, me, I'm kind of hard on people because I'm all about accountability, and I want you to take responsibility for the things you do. And he went on to say, you know, I said, I hear you. I agree with what you're saying. But when is it a good time to take responsibility for what you do? You know, I know as children, we may not get it. And some of us may be a little late bloomers. But tell me what you think. And he said 25, your brain is developed as a woman, and you should be able to start taking responsibility for what you do. All right, y'all. Last calculation, 25. She would be 25. She's 54. So she's what, 25, 29 years late? Is that what I'm hearing, y'all? For not taking responsibility for her actions? The other part was he spoke about trauma and dysfunction and things that happen as a child, you know, or not as a child in your life. And this is what you bring with you, why we act the way that we do. And the husband mentioned something that was very important. And see, this is why I'm telling you, this is why this story hit me so hard, is because the husband said this, because after I did all these things, after I told the young people, don't wear the bonnets, have pride in what you do, I really felt like she was sincere. I really felt like she wanted to make that change. I really felt like she didn't want to be the overweight woman who screams at the beginning of her show for at least 30 minutes before it actually started. Y'all remember her show, right? Her talk show. That's all she did. Y'all remember that for the first 30 minutes? She did that. I could be exaggerating by the first 30 minutes, but at least for the first 5, she screamed. Y'all know that she yelled the whole first 5 to 10 minutes of her show. But I liked her show, so I just had to tune in 10 minutes late. It's okay. I did like it. But I think that I really feel like she was trying to make a change. I think she wanted to show up and be like, you know, I'm at a certain age now. Some of you all are calling me auntie. You know, it's time for me to settle in and be an example. And this is how I can start, because I don't like the way this looks either. I can see now this doesn't look good. It's not a good representation of young women, young Black women. So I really believe that that's what way she was going. But on Saturday night, I saw something different. I saw on Saturday night, she didn't care what you think, what I think, what anybody else thinks. She's going to be who she wants to be. And we can basically take it or leave it. Now, where she wants to be was that woman. She was too comfortable, because I told y'all the next day, anybody can mess up, right? We can. Bad, you know, I walked in. This is my new start. Fox Studio, hadn't been in 20 years. I got it going on. I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden they put me in my place. So my ego was bruised. They put me in my place. So instead of me being headliner, because that's what my contract said, I'll be headliner. Instead of me being headliner, I'm now still going on before DL. But it said that. And then he pulling the shots because he said he gonna walk away if he don't get to do it. So now I've regressed. So now I'm that woman who can handle things, and I'm seeing myself differently, and I'm older now, and I got people looking up at me and looking towards me for, you know, good examples of what I'm getting ready to do. And this happened. But instead of just being saying and just coming clean, God, y'all, I felt the victim. I felt I was so wrong. I shouldn't have behaved that way. It was a great opportunity, what have you. She just couldn't find it in her to do it at all. So when men tell you that women accountability is like kryptonite, it would have killed her to say, I was wrong. This would have been a whole different conversation. She was not going to do it. She doubled down on it. That was her opportunity to win again. And she said, no, I'm going to show you where they did me wrong and how I am a victim. She did it again. She did it again. And then guess what? She took it completely off of what was actually the case. So I'm wondering, I want y'all to wonder too, before I tell you this last part. If she would have actually gotten to be the headliner and performed at the end of the show, would would any of this have happened? Would she have given DL a pass for another 5 years? Because if it's anywhere between 10 and 20, 25 wouldn't have mattered, would it? And he still would have been on the show with her, right? But would it have made a difference? Would she still have approached him? Because if she wouldn't have, then what difference did it make? Because she said he was going to have his ass handed to him no matter what. So what difference did it make whether you came on as a headliner or the second to the headliner? The money was the same. You agreed upon the money. Okay, the promoters, they jacked you. They did what they did. But what difference would it make if you were already planning to do this? So this is the last and most important part, though. And I don't think we take this kind of stuff in consideration because, again, we live in our lives. We're doing what we're doing and we're just busy, The last thing was the husband said, and this was very big, and he just talking, y'all. I mean, I don't know what kind of agreement they have or anything. Marriage being open, definitely open in always, conversation, open in sex, open in whatever you want to do, because he just was talking. And she talks a lot too, but hey, it is what it is. But he said that, now y'all keep in mind, Monique was molested at 7 by her older brother. He was 15 or 16 years old. And then he took her down the street and gave her to her friends, and they did it too. And that's where it changed. That's where it all changed. So I don't know if he realizes he's saying these things or how deep or I don't think he understands how big that is to her. And I don't know anything about Monique as far as has she's gotten therapy, has she done anything to get help for that. She just looked. I don't even think her face changed in any kind of way. They didn't elaborate on it because at that point I turned it off. But before we go on and get into that more, let's get those likes up, guys. When you come into the live, make sure you're giving me the thumbs up. I would appreciate it because we're just having the conversation because it just got real. Because out of all the bad behavior that we have, we're always talking about trauma and we're always talking about dysfunction and things that have happened to us when we were younger or throughout our life. And how it reflects and how it shows up. And all of that she's went through showed up that night. Now, I know you all want to just call it like it is. And I'm calling it like it is, too, because it's time to grow up. Even though she's 54, I don't think she's ready to grow up because that's the real problem. The real problem was, and this is just me. Y'all can do whatever you want to do. And she could say whatever she wants. But her husband said he wanted us to keep it in mind. She said, remember, y'all. Now, this is not something I know. He's talking like it has been a whole documentary made about it, and it could be. But he said this. He said this because this is what he wants y'all to excuse. He said this because I need you all to excuse the behavior because of this. Excuse Saturday night and everything else because, remember, Monique was molested at 7 years old by her brother, who was 15 or 16 years old. And then he took her to some of his friends, and they did the same thing. And he went on to say, when she got of age and realized the violation, she's been a victim since she was 7 years old, y'all. And she has never, ever, this is me talking, she would say different, but she has never gotten out of that mode. She's never gotten out of that mode of being a victim. She was a victim at 7. And I don't think anybody has helped her since that time. And I think sometimes what we see, she's a grown woman now, she's 54, and we can revert back. And I really don't think she's had to help, y'all. I don't think she has. I don't know, but I wish she get it. Because what she gave us the other day was a terrible example of a Black woman. And she needs to know that. And there's no excuses for it. Listen, people deal with trauma. People have dysfunction. Terrible things. And that was a terrible thing that happened to her. That was a violation that cannot be overlooked. It doesn't need to be played down. But at 54, we cannot continue to put that kind of weight on that. I get it. But what I'm saying is now you need to have had some help. Somebody along the way should say, you know what? This is not normal behavior. It's not normal for a woman to yell for the first 5 or 10 minutes of her show. What's going on? I see you, though. I see you. I understand when you were being violated, nobody saw you. Or when your parents found out about it, nobody cared enough, or nobody saw you then either. But I see you with your yelling, your screaming. I see you. So is this why you're yelling and screaming at the beginning of your show? Because I see you. You have all my attention. I'm seeing you. Okay, now what? Are you funny? Are you talented? You are so funny and talented, but not now. Not that demonstration on Saturday night. I don't ever want to hear a woman, an adult woman, talk about let me say that again. I don't want to hear any woman talk about a man's parts and him bending over, him being on the DL and all those things that she said. Now she pretends and says, I didn't talk about his wife. No, you said something about her hating to make love to her husband. Too far, too much. But then she says, oh, but I'm a comedian. Come on. Everything ain't funny. It wasn't funny when Jasmine was saying, would you rather? It wasn't funny. It was offensive. It was offensive. And I agree with you that it was offensive. What you said to DL or about DL the other night was offensive. Very offensive. And see, this is the part that gets real sticky here, because I don't know what DL was at the time, but he couldn't come out there and slap her. The way that Will Smith did to Chris. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. And I'm sure he wouldn't have. But come on. Listen, this, by the way, and I don't know, she has not been my documentary, y'all. I don't study Monique, and I hope she's good. I hope she's okay. But this is not good, guys. It is not good. She is not the example of our community. And I pray that you all are not looking up to her to be that example, because I think that there is some untreated trauma that she has gone through that is very deep. And instead of her getting help or people understanding and just moving slow with her and listening, it's been compounded. It's been compounded over the years. And nobody's ever said, I love you enough to tell you that we need to do something about this. And I'm not saying she hasn't had trauma, but therapy. But if she had, it's not over. We're not done. Because that right there, that demonstration on Saturday night was terrible. It was terrible, y'all. I was loving the fact that there was another Black woman, there was a celebrity that felt strongly enough to say, bonnets in the airport, pajama bottoms, looking like you just freshly got out of the bed and here in public. I was so excited the fact that somebody needed to say it, because you want people to say these things, not to hurt people, but I do want young women to have pride. I don't know where it went. I mean, it used to be such a big deal. It's still a big deal for me, but this is how I was groomed this way. I mean, to be sharp, to be fine, to have it all in place, to smell good, to look good. What happened to that? Why we don't want that? So for her to bring it back and say, look, girls, you can do this and you can look good and you can get the positive attention that you want and you'll feel good about yourself. But when did we stop caring? And she addressed that, because that's what's happening. They don't care. But why don't they care? Why don't they care? But I saw that she did care. This woman lost so much weight, and it seemed like she did it in a very healthy way. And she started caring. And Secure, I'm going to give this one to you, because you pointed it out the other day. She's gaining the weight. And I never thought that your weight could really play that. Now, y'all just, talk to me, hit me upside the head, play that much into your emotions till it would come out in your behaviors. Now, it could have, or it may not, but she's gaining the weight back. So does that mean she's not feeling good about herself anymore? Absolutely. Could that mean now, since I'm not feeling a way about myself anymore, I am now a victim in another area, and it's all about me, and this is how I want to respond? And then me being loud and me being abrasive is me protecting myself? Could that be the case? I don't know. But again, y'all, over here at SB Nation, I've been asking y'all as of last week, we're not talking anymore about marriages. We're not having it. That was wrong. We're not talking anymore about gender wars, right? As the brother Kevin Samuel said, the gender war is over. Okay. Now we're talking about putting things together, becoming married, and becoming better people, men and women individually. And that was not a good example. So the war is over. So over here at SB Nation, we're not talking about that anymore. I'm talking about being married, being happy, being the best version of myself. The husband's doing the same thing, and I'm bringing it to you. And I'm calling it out on your end too. This is your concentration. But before we do that, Patricia Hill Miller, how are you doing? This woman has a story. This is an outstanding woman right here. This is an outstanding woman. Thank you so much for your $20 super chat. Video game controller dances goofily under the word. I wish I could see these things doing this, but thank you so much for your $20 super chat. Oh, I see it. Okay, look at there. I like that. Thank you so much for your $20 super chat. And you get the money line song.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
Money line,
I'ma run it every time.
give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, guys, thank you so much for that super chat. And when you come into live, make sure you give me the thumbs up. Listen, Linus says, I honestly miss KS. Listen, when he said the gender wars is over, I'm there with him because it's over. It's time now to invest in yourself, woman and man, and be the best version of yourself. We won't have a war. None of this will make any difference anymore. Y'all understand this, right? But when we have examples of Miss Monique putting it out there and then doubling down on it and saying she's doing this intentionally. So she's saying, I intentionally hurt this man. I intentionally came with this tonight for this reason. And what was that reason, guys? What was that reason? And then the husband says, forget everything she said, but keep in mind, she was molested at 7. So in other words, people who have had trauma in their life, they get to do whatever the hell they want to. And y'all just got to work it out. That's not true. That's not acceptable. Not at all. Not at all. And it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be that way. So listen, again, the gender war is over. We're moving on to something new. And I'm starting with, listen, Monique, I have nothing against Monique besides what she did the other night. I was rocking with her because the fact that she came out and said it. And y'all know recently I've got a lot of pushback for saying I was a single mother for a short period of time and I wasn't interested in having a baby shower. Me, I was talking about myself and they went crazy on me. Now, we got a problem. We got a problem with us not wanting more. We got a problem with our pride. We got a problem with it's something that is not in us that we're lacking and that we're missing. And then when I hear a woman say, you know what, this is it. I need y'all to have pride. Y'all need to get it up. You need to do this. You need to do that. You know, it's just what we should do. Hey, Chicago, real talk that time. Listen, it is just what we need to do. So when people do that, it's like we're being set back. I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to be that way. So we got to put out another message. And then she goes back and then now you're confusing everybody. Now the young folks think they can do what you do this way because this is what comes easy. You know, it comes easy for us to act the fool, right? It comes easy to cuss. Y'all saw the skateboard, right? Go to YouTube. It's all kind of fights and going on, all kinds of fighting going on between girls and boys on there. And the men are not, listen, y'all, it ain't the same young man. It's not. The chivalry part is gone. You do something to him, he gonna give it back. There's no way possible that Monique could have spoke to DL or anybody else, any other man on the street that way, and it will be okay, guys. It's not. So I hate the fact that she put that message out there. And I hate the fact that she said it was intentional. And then she held on for 10 to 20 years, something that she did or something that happened between them that many years ago. Y'all, what is that? That's a big deal. That means she was boiling. Now, I don't know if this is even true. I mean, she said it. I have to accept what she says to be true. But remember, all that being said, it's not about the contract. It's not about headlining. It's about, would you rather him not doing anything, him on the world tour? It's all about that. But then y'all got to keep in mind that Monique was molested at 7. So what are you really saying? What are you really saying? What he's really saying is we need to excuse her behavior. Instead of getting her some help, because I think that's what you're saying also. We need to excuse her behavior because this is the reason why. She's upset. She's been a victim. She's angry. She don't want no man coming after her. She don't want no man saying nothing to her. Remember, if you touch her, she gonna come back and get you. Come on. Y'all don't understand. If y'all don't understand yet, somebody need to get it. Ladies, we need to get it. This doesn't work anymore. Or if it ever, well, I guess for her, it's still working. But people retaliate on you nowadays. Ladies, common people that are out in the street. Think about the lady on the bus that day. What about the lady on the bus who thought she was going to go back and forth with the bus driver and how he got up and knocked her out? Now, he hated to do that because he lost his job. But what are we doing when we're saying to young women, it's okay to do this? It's not okay to do this. When I was in the grocery store and this woman was spitting in my face and I saw my hands around her neck, it was not going to be okay for me to do that. It was not, even though I was a victim for a moment. But the optics was not going to be good. Yeah, I was going to be the one in the wrong because it just wasn't going to match up. It just was not going to be good. It was not. So I have the link in the chat. I would love to hear your opinion about it and just to see where we're going with this, because keep in mind, we're trying to be our best version of ourselves because this was bad. This is bad for our people. And I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but she was coon. And I done been several coons. Y'all know that. And I don't understand it either. Our people call us coons. This is ridiculous, but she did it. She called him a coon. And all this was because of what? Because he can see clearly that there are some issues with you, maybe that you need to be talking to someone about. I think everybody can see it by now. So don't get mad about it. Just go get the help. We're here for you. We with it. But then you got people that's giving standing ovations, y'all. Standing ovations for all that she said about DL. What about them? I want to hear some people. I want to talk to some of them. I want to talk to some of those who agree with what she did. I want to talk, even especially now, because remember, initially, it looks like she had been done wrong by DL. But then as she continued to talk, you realize, no, the promoters did her wrong. But then after she continued on with her apology video, it was all done and intentional. So I really want to hear about those people. I want to talk to those people who supported her, who gave a standing ovation. If there's anybody out there, whoever, if there's anybody in the chat who supported what she did, I want to hear from you. And I want to do this super chat. It's Riding the Six. It says, I heard about you on AD's. Anton Daniel's channel yesterday. I've been missing KS and I'm appreciating the mature conversation. Much love. Listen, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Kevin Samuels had some good things to say. He really did. Because he definitely said the gender wars is over. And I'm with him because we're not doing any good with that. We're not. But we can change this thing if we be about ourselves and being the best version of ourselves. And right now, Miss Monique has put out a very bad narrative that it's okay to treat someone that way and then to double down on it. So there was no accountability, guys. There was none. Unless there's something else that has come out. Now, I do know, and I didn't see this yet, I have heard, though, that DL actually gave her an apology and she wouldn't accept it. So again, bad behavior wins, if that's indeed the case. I have not seen that video, so I don't know if that's absolutely true, but that's the last thing I've heard is that there was a video by him that he gave an apology. And I'm going to have to go check it out and see if that's the case, but that's what I've heard. So anyway, I want to talk to somebody I want to talk to someone who feels like she was justified in doing what she did. They agreed with the actual live from that night. And they actually agree with the live her and her husband did when they doubled down on the fact that it was all done intentionally. Or do y'all think that she just liked to talk? I don't know. I really want to hear from you all. I want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think she really likes to talk? Listen, she said, I told y'all, Mika, how are you doing today? She said, I told y'all KS left an audience of 1.4 million empty content creators need to be on their games. You told them that. What are you doing? Are you claiming some psychic power? Hey, Tamika, how you doing? But anyway, again, guys, I want to know. The link is in the chat. And I just need to hear from somebody who thinks that she was justified because she said that she got a standing ovation. Well, if you look at the video, the first 10 minutes of that video, she did. Those people were yelling and applauding, standing up with their cameras. I mean, I don't know if it was good for a show or they were agreeing with her totally, but she thinks that she got a standing ovation because of what she was doing. And she also said as on her way out, she got a standing ovation for that also. So I want to hear from anybody that agrees with her. If you all agree, and I mean, look, I don't argue with people. I want to hear from both sides. I want to hear why you think she was justified or why we think that she toxic people. Everybody in the audience was toxic, and I bet everybody wouldn't stand up, but you might be right about that. But even if that's the representation of us right now, how can we fix it? how can we fix being toxic? What can we do? Because that's where we are. I want to fix being toxic. I no longer want to show up toxic. I no longer want toxic being a representation of who we are. Because if that's the case, we're in bad condition. Even amongst ourselves, Ede, how are you? Even amongst ourselves, I don't want a representation of being toxic just because I'm Black. And then more so than that, because I'm dark skinned. I heard somebody the other day say that we tend to have dark skinned women tend to be more aggressive. Now, I don't know if Monique is dark skinned or not. I don't know about that at all. But, is that where we are? She wants to be a martyr. Ooh, okay. Okay, that's big. That is really big. She might want to be, but I need to know, because listen, we need to turn this thing around, because I'm not interested in being toxic. I'm not even interested in having that representation. I mean, because I can imagine the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, she has a husband, and y'all know I don't go in on marriages because marriage is a good thing. And she has a husband, and he seems like he really cares about her, and she seems like she cares about him. AL says, Doc is beautiful. It is. I love it. But guess what? For some reason, we're getting a bad name. I don't know what it is. But again, her husband seemed like he's really into her. Hey, Bolo. Seemed like he's really into her. But I'm just wondering, where's the covering though, guys? He even spoke about this. We're talking traditional marriages. Of course, they don't have one, if indeed they're practicing an open relationship. And then there's an article out there with her where she's talking about an open relationship, and y'all need to go back and read it. Again, y'all, I don't like to get into the celebrity gossip because these people have to live their lives. I don't know how much of it's true, how much of it's for, fanfare, or how much of it is just for getting attention. I really don't know. So I don't like to play into all of that. But the reason why I shared this is because it was basically two real reasons. The first one is because she seemed like she was really doing a good thing by being an example to young women, saying, let's have some pride about ourselves and the representation that we, what we're bringing forth, how we show up in this world. So people can see have a different idea of a Black woman. It can't always be that they're aggressive, that they're angry, that they're overweight, that they're going to fight. I hate that. And don't care. But when you're showing up in the airport with a bonnet, with pajamas, a blanket, it does have the appearance that you're just getting or falling out of the bed. You didn't take the time to care for yourself. That's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. And that is what it is. Now, is trauma what brought us there? Is it the trauma or the dysfunction that they live in is what brought us there? I don't know. But whatever it is, we need to work on it. So I'm agreeing with her there. That was one of the first things that got me there, or got me here with this video on Monique. The second thing that keeps me on this video with Monique is the last thing her husband said is that excuse everything she said thus far. But remember, Monique was molested at 7. Y'all, come on. What are you saying? Why are you saying this? What are you trying to say? What is it you want us to know? I know you want us to know that she was molested at 7. That is a trauma. We get it. That's very toxic. That's terrible behavior. That's her boyfriend. Excuse me, not boyfriend, her brother. That was her brother. He took her to other people. You also went on to say that her mother and father basically didn't do anything. But when she got old enough, she said she was not going to ever let anybody, she wasn't going to be no more victim. She said it. That's what he said anyway. She didn't say it at the time. He said when she got of age, she was not going to be any more victim to anybody. So that's what she's been carrying. She's been carrying that. So hold on one moment. Let me do this super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Steele. Thank you for your $20 super chat. He says Rebecca Lynn Pope talked about holding things in for a long period of time instead of dealing with it. Letting that anger build up can have severe consequences. It happened to Will Smith and now Monique. Definitely. But wait a minute. Monique has been acting out from time to time throughout. So now, though, what she said about her and DL for the last 10 to 20 years, that is a big deal. Mr. Steele, that's a big deal. That's a lot of anger that she had for him expressing his opinion, maybe, about her behaviors or her responses towards Lee Daniels, towards Oprah, towards Tyler Perry. That's what she said. That's what she said he did. And of course, she gave him the responsibility of Jasmine with the game. would you rather game. Now, the would you rather game was very insulting to me. It was very offensive. But when you're talking to a woman who's a comedian and who she's basically said roasting is what she does, saying things, talking brass like that, talking, off like that as a woman is what she does. And now I'm wondering if I should even think that was very offensive to her. Now, to me, a woman wouldn't have been able to do that. Wouldn't nobody speak to me that way, because I wouldn't carry myself in a way that would have been acceptable conversation. So I'm wondering, why would Jasmine even think that she could say that? But again, I wasn't there. And we're only hearing that one side of the situation. But before we go on, let's make sure we give Mr. Steele his Moneyline song, which I know he enjoys so much.
Moneyline, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline.
Moneyline,
I'ma run it every time.
give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody says, who is this? Is this Aaron? Aaron asked the question, who's worse, Amber, Monique, or Jada? Who's worse as what? They all got their own dysfunction. Is that what you're saying? They all do. They all do. But again, I would say for us, Monique is right now the worst. And only because the behaviors that she's exhibiting for our people. Jada is a married, you know what? Jada is a married woman. I haven't heard Will say a whole lot. So I'm out to lunch a little bit on what's going on in Jada and Will's house, and I will not speak on that. But I did hear what Monique said the other day, and I heard what Monique said a couple years back when she spoke of the young ladies in the airport. So these are her words. I didn't come up to any conclusion. I didn't make them up. She said it on her own. And seeing that she said that, she took responsibility. She said she didn't want to be auntie, but a lot of people call her that. And she said, those who do, I need you to listen to me. And so those that listened, they saw exactly what she did the other day. And those who didn't listen saw it also. So now you got a group of people who think they can do what they want. How do we get mainstream to push our message? I don't know. The only thing I can say is you take these videos like this, you share these videos. You continue to share the videos. You continue to tell people that, listen, I got somebody I know unsolicited that speaks that this way, or I got that speaks marriage, that speaks being your best version of yourself. Anton, same thing. You got to tell people about that and see if we can get above. KS has passed away, but we're trying to make people understand that you need to be the best version of yourself, and all the negative behavior that people exhibit is not the way you should go. But this is the problem. There's a lot of money in negativity, because if those people were indeed giving her a standing ovation going out of the building after the way she spoke about that man, then we have a real big problem. There are a lot of people that enjoy this type of stuff, but we got to figure out why do people enjoy that type of behavior? Why? That's a big deal. We need to understand that part. Because listen, I'm not interested in having any woman call any man a coon or telling him to BA. Y'all know what I'm talking about. BA, that kind of stuff. That's not appropriate for any woman to speak to any man that way. I actually want to say it's not even appropriate for a woman to speak that way at all, but let alone to the men that we're trying to add value to, the men that we're trying to encourage to be better men, our leaders, the people who are supposed to be covering us. Where does that put us? We're just getting rid of being feminine. We don't even want to be who we are. We don't want to be women anymore. So anyway, Bolo, how are you?
I'm awesome. Forgive me for the noise in the background. I'm in the middle of transit, so I can't stay long today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I don't hear anything. So
okay, great. It sounds like two things coming from the man's perspective. He sounds afraid. It's number one, and he sounds like he's allowing her. He's enabling her, because when you say to someone, "Know that she's been this," what are you actually saying? Why are you not getting her the help that she needs? So are you afraid that if you stand up to her, maybe she cuts you off because she is the breadwinner? See, as men, our integrity and our character has to stand forth no matter what the situation is. You have to have faith enough to know that your marriage is strong enough and that you have character and integrity. So for him to say, nah, you know, you got to understand what she's going through. She's been molested. She's been this, she's been that. No one gets a pass that way to continuously do it. If someone does something and they go and get help for it, then it's different. But this is something that she's been holding on to, and she's been acting out a few times. We can't allow this to happen. We have to have some type of bar that we set. And us as men, he's not in his masculinity. Let me say that. He's far from it. Far from it. So, and here's the thing. She's more masculine than he is.
Absolutely. She
You know
was.
what I'm saying?
But when she's with him though, she has this little calm, soft voice that she uses, and it's almost like a whisper. It's like, "Hey, baby, yeah, baby, I love you." They talk like that. She talks like that.
She talks like that because it's an act. You know, I'm going to let you be the man. I'm going to let you lead. I'm going to let you be my husband right now. But when things get out of order, get out my way. Anyone that can take your freedom and give it to you, you're not really free. Understand that. So if someone can take your masculinity, then you don't have it. She's really not following you. You're really following her. So we have to understand that he needs to do a lot more work on himself. So, you know, it just is what it is. And it's a shame that it gets to this point, you know, but what are we going to do?
I don't know. I have no idea what we can do. I was just hoping that he could be that rock that would make her apologize. You know,
He's not the rock.
You know, and he's not.
Rock. So he's not going to be a rock now. How do you expect me to be a man if I've never been one in this marriage? When do you expect me to be one? If you've always carried my balls in your purse, when do you expect me to take it back? Purse. You got it. And this is the problem. The problem is, you know, these men meet these women, and because these women are very affluent and very successful, you know, these men don't have to work. But what are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing your integrity, your character. You're sacrificing the position for what? For bread? For money? Come on, man. We got to be stronger and more intentional than that. Money is not worth your integrity. It's not worth who you are as a man, as a leader, as a provider, as a nurturer, as a guider. Someone that sacrifices. It's worth more than that. So that's my spiel. I gotta go. I love USB. Tell Mr. Boss I said hello.
Will do. And thank you for that. Wow.
So proud of me.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear. So listen, gosh, that was it. I was basically wanting to deal with Monique because she's the one that's acting out, but he's absolutely right. He is her covering, or supposed to be. And he did have an opportunity, but what he's saying is, I know what's going on is incorrect, but please excuse her. But I'm not going to get her any help because she don't want it, maybe. And he did say some things. He just said from that point on, when she got of age, she was not going to let any man get in her way. And I guess he would be included. So you're right about that. Mel, I saw you in the back, but do you have a way that you can verify who you are so we can go ahead and let you up? We don't want any problems, Mel. So come on back up. And if we can verify who you are, then we're good. And then you can come, we'll pull you up. But that's, gosh, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. If we can, that's important, y'all. In marriage, that is very important because she needs to be covered. She needs some help, but he is probably afraid that he will be cut off. And if she's if he's the manager and she is the lifeline and she is the reason, you know, that's how he's living. He's making a living off of her. But I don't see it that way. If he's a manager, then it's a position. But again, that they're married, what they do is in their household, and I can't really say too much about it. All right, Mel, where you at, brother?
Hello?
Mel.
Yeah.
Okay. Mel.
Can you hear me?
I can.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh, okay. 1 2 3 4. Auntie balls.
Yeah, how you been?
Auntie Boss. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you been though?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Can't complain.
What do you
Another
think about
day.
this? I know for a fact you done seen the first video, the original video, the second video, and you probably already know about the apology video too. Have you?
That's the first time I've seen it, but I'm not even surprised by Monique's behavior. Her true colors always shows out. You know what I mean?
Really?
So I'm impressed. Exactly, and we're seeing it right now. And
So
stuff.
you didn't
She's
think
going
she
to
had
flip-flop. Yes.
you didn't think
She
she had changed her stripes a little bit when she was talking to the young ladies in the airport about the bonnets? You didn't think that was a different woman?
different woman, but I'm not surprised she's flip flopping. You know what I'm saying? I didn't fully buy it 100% because she always you see how she acted before, and then she want to flip flop back to this, and then flipping like I've seen women like that always flip flop to their original ways and stuff like that. So it's like there's a reason why she probably said that at the time and everything, and then now she's resorting back to this always, going like acting all disrespectful on the stage like that with a personal beef that should have been taken care of privately like that, and may have been a misunderstanding, but it's like she's starting to get opportunities. It's getting to her head now, like. Didn't 50 Cent hire her to be part of the new Power City series coming up now, or something like that? And that's
Yep.
messing
Something,
up.
yep. And then also she's had some new dates that she's doing. I mean, I'm assuming the dates are still in place. I don't know if that would affect one thing would affect another, but yeah, you're right. She's been hired. She's got a regular job now. Yeah, coming up.
And as Bolo put it out, like, what I seen how she acts with her husband, that's something that's like happening in the BDSM lifestyle. Well, you got couples that woman, she will sometimes make the guy feel like he's the dominant part time, but mostly she's the dominant one. And stuff. I heard about the open relationship, but it's more like on her terms, not his and stuff. So out in public may seem like, she's submissive towards him one way, but you see how she act. No, he's the submissive one, at times, and she's the more dominant one.
So that's why he doesn't. I mean, because if I've had a problem with a man 10 to 20 years or whatever, any problem, let's go back to the game, would you rather game, Jasmine, the thing that she said, I would have put my husband right on that. They asked me, would I rather you have condom? No. I think that was very offensive. Again, this is her version. I don't know. I haven't heard DL comment about that at all. I don't know if that happened, but I would have never, my husband would have had to deal with that. I'm like, I need you to talk to DL about this, or whoever created that or wherever that came from, because this a terrible message is being put out there about us for somebody to come up with that type of question and think it was funny, because you don't say just anything to anybody. Sometimes how to talk to people, or how to behave around certain people. You don't do just everything, and for that to be something that was said is kind of like, what? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that was crossing lines right there, and it's like,
It was.
yeah, that was disrespectful. Like, if he's a manager, like he say he's supposed to be, power manager, he would have put that. Like, don't play like that. We hear about business and stuff like that. I know we sometimes joke, but some jokes go too far. He should have either handled that and no, and then this is my point of view also too. Like, I think I put in the chat you highlighted earlier. Real husbands get their wives out of conflict. They don't encourage it for them to get into more conflict deeper than what it is and stuff. And he's encouraging that too much. And then with her, he's not really helping her face. Just as you mentioned, I'm actually this first time I hear about what you just mentioned about her past for her family. What they did to her. So I'm like,
No,
damn, did he
but
really help her?
yeah, no, I don't know. But he said it like it was nothing. That's a real deep thing for a man or a woman to have to live through. But then the way he said it was almost like we were supposed to know. He was more like, remember? Like we talked about it before, and it was almost like he was excused, like it was an excuse for the behavior. But I can almost say that I don't think he lived it with her. You know how when somebody, your husband and your spouse, the love that you have when things hurt her, when she's broken, or vice versa, your spouse actually feels it. And he said it so nonchalantly. She didn't say it, he did. And I'm like, wow.
Because that will affect your relationship. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not the problem, but some way I'm affected by that because it determines how close I could get to you in certain ways. And I don't want that to be a barrier, especially certain intimacy situations well, that's a barrier, and I don't want to be held accountable for that. I know I'm here to help you and stuff. Yeah, this is what a man's here to do. Like, whatever problems you're going through, I want to find out about it so we can get to it together, the best of your abilities. If I'm willing to take the job to handle that, that's why I'm here. And be so nonchalant about that. Yeah, just like you said, it's more like if he did, she probably would, like, got aggressive with him, like in some ways, and he just brushed it off, like he just agreed to whatever solution she found for herself and just agreed to that way. And it's like they don't want to face the problem head on and stuff.
Mel, hold on for a minute. I want to ask you a question before we do this, though. Linus, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. And she says, this is for 20 likes. Hit the like button, guys. You get the money line song.
Money line, I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Money line.
I'ma run it every time.
Give me mine.
Going up, need no decline.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that. So, Mel, my question to you is this. This is a big deal to me. Because I don't know anybody personally, or no one would come out and tell me this, but she mentioned that she got a standing ovation. Hey, Gail, how are you? She mentioned that she got a standing ovation on the way out the door and also on the way in at the actual show on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So what are you thinking about people giving her a standing ovation for that presentation or that representation of a Black woman with pride?
Well, that shows you how dysfunctional our community is, that you're encouraging dysfunctional behavior. That's something we have a history of. We always encourage the most dysfunctional behavior and think this is some type of pride thing. And it's like not you actually dismantling your image and encouraging that to do it more and more and stuff like that. Yeah, especially when we see Black women doing it, they see it as a Black woman empowerment type thing. We see that a whole lot now with women encouraging each other to do ratchet behaviors so much. And
you know what? That was something else right there. But see, she probably did it because that was her home. She was actually made a comment on her and her husband. She said she's from Baltimore. She was actually in Detroit. I don't know if she's never lived there before or ever lived there before, but she said they're from Baltimore. That show was in Detroit. I really want to know why we are so dysfunctional. Why we are, because a lot of people are dysfunctional. You can't find too many people that are not. But why do we give praise to the dysfunction? Why is it okay? Why is it, even because people don't agree with each other, why do I have to be a coon because you don't agree with what I say? Or we don't see the world the same? Or because I don't want to be on code, then I'm not good enough. Or because I say, certain things like that, because I just don't do what everybody else does. Why is there a problem? Why can't we just respect each other and try to learn from each other? Kirk, is that you? That is him.
They feel like all Black folks are the same kin folks. We've been through the same struggles. We always use the slavery, excuse so much. So, and freedom, our own sense of what it is to be fully free. And I guess the most dysfunctional behavior in their minds is we being free, being ourselves, no rules and everything. And if you don't like it, you're not part of the program, you're a traitor and everything. And they try to shame those that, I don't want to be part of this behavior. I got some sense and everything. I can't encourage it. And so we see this in our families all the time, like, certain relatives of ours, and even though we love them, but there might be some behaviors we just don't want to rock with them like that. Maybe we might see them on cookouts, but on a regular basis, like like them extra cousins we got, man. That we know that I can love you from afar. That's as far as it go. But there's some behaviors I can't rock with you with, no matter if we family or not. And I think that's part of it. We always encourage the dysfunctional things. Those that want to think it's outside the box and stuff, everything we get shamed of, or even certain preferences we have, and we get shamed for it because we all supposed to have the same preferences. It's just like one guy. Let's say, like myself, like I grew up in the hood and stuff like that. In my neighborhood, the group of women that's around there is women of all shapes and sizes. So they think all Black men are supposed to be into the thick, the BBWs, also too, all types of women. And it's like, okay, maybe we might have spent once or twice with some of those type of women, but if those are those type of women that's in our community so much, it's like we got immune to it before we could actually discover that there's other types of women outside of the community that we grew up around with and everything that, you know what, I don't have to accept this and stuff. Maybe I don't accept it for a reason because I was all up in my face. But now I'm breaking out of that, as I would say, putting quotations, a prison in a way. I'm free to go somewhere else to think outside the box. Now I'm being ashamed of to because you know what, I don't have to settle with these types of people. I want to settle with someone outside of what I grew up around, and that's the problem. Is that we shame others for want to be different, but then again, it's like we live in an age that, you know what, we encourage freedom of choice to be different, but you shaming those that don't think alike.
But listen to this, though. Listen to this. You're exactly right, but let's listen. Let's just be honest about this. If what they're saying, those people who would, would promote bad behavior, if what they're saying and what they believe in is so right and on point, instead of them coming against us, why won't they try to be an example of what they're saying to make us understand that what they're doing is correct? And then maybe we can have our own idea about what's going on versus calling us coons and being ugly. You know what I'm trying to say? Normally, when you have a message and you feel like your message is one that gets yields success, you'll want somebody to hear your message. You won't come against them. You won't knock them over the head and be like, you coon. You will try to help them. You will try to help them understand what you're talking about. How you feel, why you feel this way. You'll give them an opportunity to have empathy and compassion for you and your struggle versus calling them a coon. So why do you think it's not that way? Why is it that we have to be forceful at what your message is?
I would say for this example, like, okay, think about a guy who trying to break out of, okay, he's been treated like he was like a nobody, probably based upon he might be overly nice or whatsoever. So he has to try to adjust his new style of who he is, his masculinity type style and everything, to find something that works. And now he found that style that works. But we got people that's used to him being his old self so much that they don't believe it. But the fact is, people don't stay the same. People change. So you know what? He's going to have to enforce himself like, you know what? I'm not that nice guy anymore. If I have to act like a prick to tell y'all that I'm not that type of same guy anymore, I don't care if you like me or not and stuff, then so be it. And I think that's what it is. People so used to you being a certain way so much, or you're supposed to be a certain way. It's like when we find another way that works and we try to teach it, they so much stuck into their old ways so much. It's like a drug, like the biggest drug. The strongest drug. There's so much on that drug of negativity, so much dysfunction that, and so much into your own pain. And so, yes, I know some of it is excusable, but you still can't let that be your burden.
All right, Mel, hold on for one moment. We're going to get Kirk up here and hear what he has to say. Hey, Kirk.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Mel, man? How you doing?
Brother.
Man, I haven't been on a live with you in a while, man. How's everything?
He didn't hear you.
Oh, wait. No, I was on mute. I'm good, man. I'm good, brother, man. How you doing, man?
You know how it is, man. Same old. How are you, boss chick?
I'm still in charge. How you doing? So listen. Man. You've been listening to this, and I know what you think about these boss women. So what do you think? Wait a minute, let me ask. Have you been paying attention to what's going on with Monique lately?
I saw the video of her talking about the contract and stuff and the fact that, she called out deal and just go. I saw the temper tantrum video.
Okay.
I think I tell you, boy, sometimes you look at a couple and you can just tell who run the show.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
But when it comes on to business, and this is why, not to put anybody down, but this is why especially when you have a wife that doesn't know how to lead, it gets all caught up into emotion. The emotions start to wrap up. I can personally tell you, that was just pure emotion, because all of what she talked about on the stage, she spoke about that to someone before she even get to that event. That wasn't sitting well with her. To bring that in the public eye, and as a business owner, without even DL or the Tater that booked the show with her and other people's, just on a business aspect on her part and her husband's part, that was not professional, period. You get what I'm saying? Because think about it. You hire me to do a job, right? Let's say you hire me to do a moving, and I disagree with whatever the agreement was, and we disagree and so forth. And I have my platform, and you have your platform, right? Because we're both YouTubers. And I take the time to go and disrespect you on my platform, regardless of what it was. I don't think people really look. Sometimes you're bashing someone, but the bigger picture is not the person you're bashing, but people gonna look at you, what it's like doing business with you. If this is how you conduct yourself doing business with others, then why would I want to do business with you? Why would I want to do business with Mel and then have a disagreement of how the contract is gonna be laid up based on who is putting it together? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then call it on Mel. It looks bad on you as an individual. I think sometimes people don't really put a 100% thought. Of course, I own my own company.
Right.
90% of the time, you want to do stuff and you want to say stuff, but you got to look at the long-term effect of what you're going to say. She have an issue with Netflix. Remember that issue with Netflix also? Yeah. She went and she go on another, and sometimes you got to know, listen, we understand the freedom of expression and the freedom of this and that, but I think over the years, Monique started to seem like a person that she feel like she, in the industry of entertainment, she feel like, as an individual been in the business for 35 years, I believe that she feel that she should have been somewhere further than where she is. And I think a lot of it is been come out over the years by Oprah, personal business, or what people have said to her. She went on I don't know if you remember, she went on Hot 97. She challenged Charlemagne the God. And I feel like sometimes when people feel like they're being left behind, there is this stir that build up inside of them. Trust me, I know. I've started my trucking company with 1 truck, and I've known guys who start with 6 truck, and I surpass them, and they mad as hell. And it's like you gotta be able to contain yourself on a professional level. You get what I'm saying? What she did, I would never do business with her. Never.
Hold on for a minute. Let's read this comment. Can you put up Gia's comment? Because I think this is dead on. Gia says, Monique is not a boss chick. She has experienced a lot of trauma that seems to have it developed into some sort of emotional disorder. I agree with you totally. But that does not excuse. Let me say it differently. We can't play victim all our lives and not get help, because this puts out a very negative picture. Now, if she's saying, you're saying this, and I would agree with you that this could be what happened based on what her husband has said, not anything personal. I don't know her. Based on what her husband said about her being molested, I would agree that you're exactly right, Gia. But she needs to get some help. She does, because the message that she puts out as aunt, she touches a lot of people. A lot of women, young girls look to her for some sort of guidance. They look to her, they call her auntie. She said she didn't volunteer for it, but she's in that role. So people are looking for her to do certain things and not to do certain things. And if you're attacking men verbally or even physically, if you're attacking anybody, she's doing that, but she's doing that as a celebrity. Like I said, she has all kind of protection around her. She's not doing it as a common person on the street. This is common. We can't do that. Gee, you can't do that. You can't go up to some man and feel like you're the victim and tear him down one side and down the other. You can't do that because you don't know how he's going to respond. And it's not a good image to put out there. That's not one of pride. Now, she may mistake it as one of pride because it's like, I'm not going. This is the boss chick part. So I don't know if I agree with you totally, but I understood what you were saying about the boss chick. And that's just terminology. But when you can't hear, when you're totally out of your femininity and you're ready to almost seems like fight a man, you're not being the person that you need to be. You need to allow your husband, who is your covering, to take care of that. And if you don't have one, then I don't know exactly what you need to do, but you definitely don't need to act out as though you can challenge this man to a duel or to a fight or what have you. And the other part about it is she says she's been holding on to this for so many years. So many years. That's scary. What do you think about that? What do you think? Hank, how are you?
How you doing, Security Boss?
Doing good. What do y'all think about the fact that she's been holding on to the anger that she has? Well, this is what she said. Been holding on to the anger that she has from DL from an incident that happened maybe 10 to 20 years ago. What do y'all think about that?
Beautiful, man.
Okay, Hank, you cannot leave her in the restaurant, but tell us what you think about her behavior. You can't leave her in one, but listen, I would want someone to leave her in one, but we can't. But what do you think about that? I mean, that may go to what Gia is saying as far as emotional disorder. But, I'm not a clinical person. I know nothing about that. I can't put anything on her. I can't. But to be that angry, to hold on to something 10 to 20 years, come on. What is that?
It's almost like we seen a comic book villain being made or something like that. But it's like the slightest little thing that happened to them that, you know what, you can just brush it off or just let it go. They hold on to that and become this psychopath villain and everything. Now they're taking out not just the person they felt that did them wrong, but everybody else and stuff. And I know there's a term for that, like, I know some sort of narcissistic type behavior is dysfunctional. Yeah, like for her to hold on that grudge that hard. I mean, you remember when Will Smith went on with Janet Hubert and had the apology with her, and you know what, Monique, when she saw her point of view, what she said, she was like, I want to see Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey do the same apology to me on live the way Will Smith did for Janet Hubert. I'm like, y'all situation is totally different. And from my point of view, Tyler Perry tried to work things out with her, and she didn't like it to her standards. It's like she wants someone to kiss her behind.
I thought you was getting ready to say. Listen, I love what Gail just said. Gail says, sounds like she lacks emotional intelligence and is addicted to trauma and victimhood. This is it. This is dead on. Dead on. And I can agree with that too, because typically if something were to happen like this, like her husband said, at 7 years old, she was molested, and then by her brother. And then he then took her to his friends. That is very traumatizing. And she probably, that had to be some delay in your emotional intelligence or just being socially mature. That had to stunt her growth a lot. And I don't know the story at all, but apparently from the husband, her mother and father didn't do much. So again, that's another victim situation. Nobody helped. Nobody remedied the situation. I'm pretty sure that was, I don't know. I have no idea, but that is a big deal. But we got to get help for that. You're going to tear everybody up in your path. If somebody says something wrong, you're going to tear them up in your path. Or what are you actually looking for though? I mean, do we not have to negotiate with other people in the world? I mean, is it all about me all the time because I was a victim or I did suffer trauma?
So it seems like every man gonna have to suffer for her brother and what his friends did to him. Is that what's gonna be the case? That's gonna be the issue. Every man's gonna have to suffer because of some bull crap that her brother and his friends did. That ain't right. I mean, but I'm sure she lost that weight for health reason. But what about her mental, man? She's holding on to that anger. That can't. You mess around and have a stroke just being so goddamn angry.
Yeah. I believe her losing her weight was the beginning of her. This is me. I thought that was the beginning of her dealing with her pain. Well, first of all, I didn't know she was in this kind of pain. Okay. But I did think that her losing the weight was for her to be the best version of herself. But if you notice, she's gaining the weight back.
Uh-huh.
So she probably made all attempts to do that, to be the best version of herself, and maybe, lost her way. Or, you know how you can think you're on top of something and then something just happens and here we go again. It brought you right back to where you were. And, she was, for us, it maybe looked like she's winning. Oh, she's getting her career back. She's getting a new start. I'm good. I'm getting ready to do this. And then it says headliner. And I hadn't seen anything that said headliner in a long time. I don't know this for sure. But then headliner. And then when I go to do that, then I'm reminded that, no, you're not the headliner. Or you can be the headliner if you want to, but I ain't going to be a part of it.
I mean, is she doing this to become relevant again? Is this what she's doing? No
idea. I'm just telling you what might have happened. It might have been a gut punch. And if I've never been able or never matured on how to handle other people or negotiations or selfishness, not getting my way. You know how children act what they call them, throwing tantrums, they never grow up. They're selfish. They never figure out how to handle their emotions. It's either their way or they're fighting. That's what it kind of resembles.
Security, my sister started to me. She calls her husband daddy. Is she calling her husband daddy because her real daddy didn't protect her from my brother and his friends? So now that he's supposed to be some type of protector, is she calling him daddy? Is that what it is? I mean, the whole situation is sick to me. I
never thought of it that deep. I've heard women call their husbands daddy. So I never thought of it that deep, but it might be more symbolic to her. I don't know.
Maybe.
He said he called her mama. But I heard that my dad called my mom. He's called mom all the time. Mom, what you doing? Mom, you gonna fix my plate? Mom, this. He always called her mom. It was, nothing to it that I saw.
But to understand, because he is a mother and all of that, but and that's your mother, she called him, I understand. But he shouldn't be calling you mama. Security boss shouldn't be calling, Mr. Security boss shouldn't be calling you mama. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't be calling him daddy. Not to me, that's my opinion, but it's just me.
Right.
She said, she did say this one part too that I thought was a little bit different. She said that we have made society, I'm assuming, has made it weird for people to give reverence and to love each other. Because of that fact, because of the fact that you just said, the fact that she calls her husband daddy because she loves him and reveres him. That was the reason, right? Mm-hmm. You think that's weird. So it's weird to her that you think it's weird that she calls him dad, and it's terrible that society can't understand that type of reverence, love that she would have for a man. But my thing is, you have no reverence and love for DL. He's a man too. He's not your man. But he's still a man. How do we get that off?
Contradicting herself.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was very, love and reverence should go to everyone, especially people. Anyway, of your culture. Why not? Why would she?
I want to go back to the fact that she said that she was molested at the age of 7, right? So. That's what she said, right?
Her husband said that.
Her husband said that, right?
Right.
How many normal people in regular day-to-day life that has been molested from 3 years old, 4 years old, 7 years old, whatever the age is? These people, like Monique, got money. They can get a better therapy. Some of these people that are in the neighborhood that we come from, they don't got money kind of money. You get what I'm saying? They got to talk to regular people that can let them go straight. They don't come out here murdering the whole entire community, robbing the whole entire community because they went through a trauma. Listen, my dad left my mom when I was a baby. You get what I'm saying? Up to this day, I still talk to my dad and help my dad. I don't let that hold me back or slow me down or traumatize me. I am sick and tired of celebrity that has money like to act as if they're somehow a victim. It's all seeking this attention. You get what I'm saying? Because regular people that are in the regular neighborhood, girls who are getting molested, getting abused, they're not, nobody knows them. They're not famous. But them somehow can deal with the trauma better than these, celebrity that's running around here talking about I was molested. My mom never treated me right. I saw a lot of them on the internet talking about their parents. But they can afford therapy 10 times over more than me and you. You get what I'm saying? I just think it's just it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Somebody gave the example of Oprah because I hadn't been thinking.
I was just about to say that too.
Oprah had very bad trauma when she was young.
Right.
But I don't know if Monique hasn't had the help or not. Some people just clearly just labeling her as a narcissist. I don't know. But I don't know if she's had therapy or not. I don't know if she felt like she needed to have therapy. I'm not sure, but
But she said that she needs some therapy for a couple things. With that situation, like when she was molested, she needed therapy for that. And she sounded like she needs some therapy to talk her ass off the ledge with this holding a grudge against a man for over 10 years.
Right.
That's every type of therapy that she needs to be. She needs to be on somebody's couch, security boss. I don't give a damn what she say. Currently, right now, she still need to be on somebody's couch or having somebody Zoom me or online, whatever. She needs to be that.
So let me ask you something. If she indeed was that angry about it, don't you think she would have maybe just canceled the show or not been a part of it, knowing that he was going to be the person that was there?
Hey, I guess when you're so desperate for that money, you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. The bills got to get paid.
You'll take the money from an enemy if you have to when you get desperate. You got to
right.
Like and you're irrelevant. I mean, she's irrelevant. She's irrelevant, man. She's begging and balling, please. Netflix didn't want to. They trying to lowball her ass. I don't blame them. I'm not gonna pay you the money you think you worth because you ain't worth shit.
Right.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, Hank. I'm glad you said that because she don't realize.
She had two different points. Remember, she was talking about how they treat blacks and well, shit. Dave Chappelle got a big deal. Oh, you can't complain about how
like
Then she complained about it was women. Amy Schumer got a deal. Matter of fact, Watch Sites was got a hopeful. She just did, what I'm saying? So every point she tried to make about Netflix was bullshit. I wasn't gonna boycott that. I was gonna boycott Netflix just because she said it.
Can you drop out? Hank, can you drop out and come back in real quick? Your audio is chopping up a little bit.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
So-
me. If I was Netflix, I would never pay her that deal also too because just like Hank said, she's not irrelevant. She's not consistent, and for history, what happened from when she did Precious, in between that and up to the Netflix deal, it hasn't been very, shocking. Like what I'm saying, like you do that industry up there like that, A-lister like that, big like that. It's an investment, and they want to see return on investment. They're able to pay Amy Schumer, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock that money because they're not only relatives, they hot stars and stuff like that. They up there, they know a rate of return, and they showed the history of that. They had showed that they were still doing Presley before that. They sold out no matter what. And Monique has never showed out a show like that, like on their level, period, and stuff. So
did they really lowball her, or they gave her what they felt like she could yield in promotion?
They gave her what they feel like they yield because they pay attention to all that. They study all that. Like they know for a fact that Monique hasn't been shelling out shows like that, the way on their level like that. So what I'm saying? For her to get an opportunity, you got to build yourself up and stuff like that. We give you an opportunity to build yourself up. If you don't want it, then you know what?
Yeah.
Go for your own. Do like Wanda Skype says, I'm going for my own, do my own thing and find another deal. She went on a rant and tried to tell people to protest their $3 subscription for Netflix for all the movies. You think they're going to cancel that for you to make you richer? No.
I was wondering why did we have to hear about it? Because I hear what you're saying now. I didn't remember. I remember that she said that they lowballed her, but I didn't remember. I was trying to figure out why did we have to hear about it? Because that's another business deal that didn't complete itself. I don't understand why we had to hear about it.
Well, Cat Williams was saying that Netflix gave you the deal based on the last highest ticket earning.
Right.
So if your last show bring $1 million, they're gonna offer you $1 million. they're gonna offer you a special worth $1 million. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? So he was comparing itself with his ticket sale versus her ticket sale, and Tiffany, what is that other girl, Tiffany Harris, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and why they don't get these huge deals that they're looking, because based, like Mel said, it's an investment. Remember, these people are like they're like, you're like a stock to them. You
Of
get what
course.
I'm saying? So if you can do a show tonight and rake in $700 million, of course they're gonna offer you a live to do the live on Netflix, because they know they might end up with $14 million. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're not gonna give you that 14 million, that 7 million, if you only make $100,000. And that's what she was trying to tell us to protest, that her ticket sale was in the 300,000 and she wanted 1.2 million, and we should boycott Netflix because she wanted 1.2 million. But you get what I'm saying?
I do. But do you realize?
It's crazy.
But do you realize she said that what the rant that she went on Saturday night had nothing to do with the contract? When she actually went on the live with her and her husband, she basically said that everything that she did during that rant was intentional, and it was all done because of what happened 10 plus years ago on DL's radio show with his assistant Jasmine, and DL wasn't there. That's what she said.
That's a lie. That's a lie, because she said that when you sign a contract, that's what the blank contract says. That's what she says.
No, I agree.
So it was about the contract.
No, listen to me. Listen, I'm agreeing with everything you said, but I'm telling you what's coming out of her mouth. I didn't. The next day, the next day when she did a video with her and her husband, she said it's not the truth. What it was is that she was going to hand DL his ass no matter what, and what she did that day was intentional, despite the contract and whatever else. It was intentionally done because of what happened years back between her and Jasmine in the game that Jasmine asked her to participate in. This is what she said to her own mouth.
Then clearly Monique is not somebody you want to be a friend. Because if this happened 10 years ago and you're not grown enough to sit down and talk to me and Mel about it, then you're not a true friend. Because you still sign a paperwork that require someone else to be on the show that you have an issue with. At that point, it shouldn't even be about money. If I don't deal with you, I don't deal with you. And I don't want to be a part of what you're doing. If it was that deep, you get what I'm saying? If I got some sore that I need to patch up, right, Mel? Whether you're there or not and the bag is involved, I'm not going to be there. Listen. So I just find these people to be a big, huge hypocrite, and it's all talk. And they got a lot of people that support them in their nonsense. And that's why she can keep going and going, because there's a lot of, sadly, there's a lot of women that think and act like her and think this shit somehow make them look good. No, it makes you look like an idiot.
That's what's important. That's what's important, and that's what we need to talk about. That's what's important, because she said all of what I just told you. I didn't. I got it on. She said this because it was kind of crazy that she would say this, but she did. And basically, she just didn't want to apologize for the behavior. She wanted to double down on it. She had to find a reason for treating him or saying those things about him, because at this point now, the contracts are out. Both parties have shown their contracts, and apparently both contracts said headliner. Hers said headliner for hers, and DL said headliner also. So at that point, when you see that that's happened, then maybe the promoter has made a mistake. And I think what happened is DL's a man, and he just drew a line in the sand like men do, and he said what he was and was not going to do. And that's when the problem happened. He said, I'm not going to go on before her. If she's going to do that, then I'm not going to participate. Now, she could have done just the same. She could have done the same thing. She could have said, no, mine says headliner. I'm not performing if I got to go before DL. But can she really say that, though? Can she really, stand on that? No, she can't. Because DL is the more well-known and more, I guess, active comedian present time. So he's probably carried more shows, and she probably knew that, but she still felt like that was a gut punch right there in the moment. Again, I'm a victim, and somebody needs
Right.
to pay for it. I mean, I'm agreeing
And
with you. I'm just telling you, she needed to find
Right.
excuse she could for what she did that night, and that was what she came up with.
And that's what I was saying early on. Monique, over the years, I've watched her into this temper tantrum mentality. She think that she's somehow huger than what she really is. Or I think one of the things is that she probably felt like she need to be, further than some of the people that maybe that came after her. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will keep that inside. And I mean, I'm gonna run and do my show, but I'm gonna leave you with this. As a husband, man, and I've seen a lot of guys out here, not just celebrities, but a lot of guys. You gotta keep your wife and your girlfriend under control, man. You gotta do that. You gotta cut your woman when you hear them running and ranting and acting crazy. You gotta sit them down and talk to them, because not only that, I know people who don't invite people at their house because of their wife. Parties keeping. Where's Paul? Where's Keisha? Where's Susan? They don't invite you. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can
You
see.
don't get to come. You don't get to see anything, come anywhere, or you don't involve in anything. And that's a issue that I've seen with a lot of couples. My wife know her role. I know my role. We don't cross path, and I don't get in she don't get in my lane. I don't get in her lane. That doesn't. We play our role, and we agree to disagree, but we kept it professional. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm gonna leave it here.
Before you go, Kirk, you're going to do a show. You have a channel.
I got my YouTube channel, but I talk about box truck, and I talk about how to make money in the box truck and make a lot of money with.
You don't think we're interested in making money? Go ahead and shout your channel out.
Hey, listen, I've been trying to reach out to you. I sent you an email trying to tell you to let me come in, let you buy a box truck so we can make some money. But you don't want to talk to your boy Kirky Fresh off here.
Stop playing. You did not send me your email. Did you?
Yes, I did. I sent it to you about a couple months ago.
Oh, I didn't get it. sbshow2020@gmail. sbshow2020@gmail.
I'm gonna send you again. But my channel is On Track Trucking.
Okay.
And today I'm gonna be talking about Pookie and Ray Ray and Homeboy.
That's all we need to know.
Pookie and Ray Ray.
Listen.
Pookie and Ray Ray trying to start a box truck business,
Exactly. If you're going to start a business and Pookie and Ray Ray are going to manage it and make some money, then they no longer are Pookie and Ray Ray. So I'm all for it.
Right.
Kirk. All we want is for them to have a job so they can take care of their babies. That's it.
That's it. I have a couple Pookie and Ray Ray that get pulled over by DOT and their license was suspended because they never paid the child support. So we're trying to change that over my channel. You know what I mean?
You got it. So, all right, Kirk. Have a good night.
All right, everybody. Good evening, man. And Mel and everybody. Shout out to you guys. All right.
All right.
Peace out.
Shout out to you, bro.
All right. Peace out.
All right, bro.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How you doing down there?
I'm blessed.
Good.
Every day, wake up. Good. About to head to my workout soon. But I had to call in, show some love.
So what you got to add to? So you wait a minute. Let's just handle business. I know you heard me earlier say, "Are you ready for me to marry you all?" I didn't get your answer.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you made me say it again. Are you ready for me to marry you all? That means you and your.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to add to this?
So you know what? I think one of the things she's doing is she's taking advantage of the fact that Black people, we're very emotional. We don't understand. A lot of Black people care more about the juicy gossip than actually understand the business. Right? So when you bring up a emotional story like, oh man, like this person did me wrong, or Oprah did me wrong, or Lee Daniels did me wrong, or DL did me wrong, people always like, oh my God, this person did me wrong. But then but no one ever takes it apart and say, hey, hold up. What does DL have to do with her contract? Wait, hold up. Isn't her manager her husband? No one ever says, wait, hold up. Yeah, her daddy, isn't that her, the person who made her contract? Now, how you gonna be mad at DL before you get mad at your husband? If he's the one who made your contract, right? So no one ever takes the time to think about that, but we get the emotional sensation of, oh my God, she's done wrong, and everybody's just doing her wrong. But no one's ever thinking about, man, maybe she's just bad for business. Maybe people just don't want to deal with her because of that. You know? So I think one of the things we gotta do is, and people take advantage of it, and it's not just Monique. People take advantage of this everywhere. Even the government takes advantage of it. During elections, people take advantage of it. Every time marketing companies take advantage of it, we get played and used as tools so much because we never understand the process of things. We only understand the emotion of things, and that really gets in our way in a lot of ways.
You are so right, but how can we keep? So you're saying we don't like to deal with the facts. We just want to hear. You know, you're very right about that. We don't want to hear truth. Oh, you are so right about that. Now I'm thinking of other stories. You're so right. We don't want to hear that the man had the gun and he was shooting at the police officer. We just care about the fact that the police officer shot him first and he died, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm agreeing with you 120,000% on that. So is it anything that can be done about that though? Is that just who we are?
I think that's how the majority of people are in general. But I think one of the things we got to do is I think there needs to be a separation. It needs to start with a separation. And out of that separation, we need the people who can think need to just take the time out to actually think and say, wait, I hear this. Stop. Let me investigate. Let me process this information and then move forward as such. And other people, there's a certain amount of people who we just can't help. They're just never going to get it.
Well, you know, I was really wondering about that because I really wanted to speak to someone that supports her right now because I do want to understand what it is, because she said that they gave her a standing ovation as she left the stage. So I'm thinking, you said all those things about that man, and then he's got to come out behind you. And these people gave you a standing ovation for saying all that. You know, she said a lot of stuff that was real bad. I mean, real off for a woman to say, for anybody to say.
It sounds like you got a lot of people that support folks.
But you know what, though? They gave her a standing ovation because they didn't have time to process the information. If you say somebody did you wrong, and the first thing you say is, if the first thing you say is, oh my God, somebody did you wrong. All right, well, I'm supporting you.
Yeah, they just,
a black woman up there saying somebody did her wrong, they're supporting her automatically. But given time and you get a chance to get more information, then maybe minds can change. But at that moment, it's emotional response. That's why they're sitting up there clapping for it.
Wow, I think you're right. And then he's now got to come after that. And then he got to act like it didn't go on because he probably maybe wasn't there the whole time. He now got to perform like that didn't happen. And they probably him up. I don't really know, but.
Well, according to what he said that he didn't, on his response, he said he came in probably like, he came in, the seat was even in the stadium until halfway through our performance.
Right.
He wasn't even there.
Right.
So he probably just heard the end of it.
But then think about it, he's on a different level. So he got to handle it in a professional manner. You know, he got his podcast, his radio show, he's got a book. So he's got to deal with it differently than he could go with her. She can go straight to her because nobody gives a shit about it. She ain't got no other opportunities. You know, so she's got to get back on stage to make the people laugh and try to, get drum up some attention for her so she could say anything. She could take it to the street. My man DL can't do that. You know, he's getting that different type money, man. He's getting that corporate money.
You're right about that.
That goes back with street money.
So listen,
she could act street. Let her leave her to the streets.
Aaron, I got a question for you though. A few years back, she asked the young women that call her auntie to definitely listen to her about the message they were putting out by wearing the bonnets and things on their head. What do you think the message was that she gave off on Saturday night?
That you could do what you want to, run rampant, and everybody else got to clean up your mess.
Okay. So
security boss.
She did what?
relapsed. She relapsed. She fell backwards. She relapsed. She fell off the wagon. She's like a drug addict. You came with a good message, like you cleaned up, you did what you needed to do. You was in your AA meetings doing your sobriety and doing what you had to do. All of a sudden, you do this bullshit, you fell off. You fell off the wagon.
She gave the same response that a ghetto person is gonna do when they quit their job.
Hold that thought. Because I got to hear that. Hold that thought. Black Man Unfiltered, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. And he says, Monique, not funny at all. If you think so, what's your favorite Monique joke? I'll wait. You get the money line.
Give me mine. Going up, need no decline.
Put your hands on that steering wheel, guy.
I'm at a stoplight. I'm at a stop sign.
Yeah. So listen, I want to hear about this. What's that same response that black people give when they lose their job, Aaron? I need to hear that. What is it?
You know how some people, they be working at some ghetto job like that. I say they're working at McDonald's or something like that, or Burger King, and all of a sudden they quit. So they got to knock over the fryer or something like that, or curse at the manager on their way out.
Yes.
That's exactly what.
Oh my God. You got to knock everything off the counter to leave, right? She got to drop the mic to leave. She can't just put in a notice and leave appropriately. Okay.
Exactly.
I got you. I got it. So what?
She stole the sweet tea.
She stole the tea. So what do we do now, Aaron? Because Aaron and Hink and Mel, what do we do now? Because she had some people following her, and that was a good message, y'all. It really was. We do not want our young ladies out here in bonnets and pajama bottoms and no shoes on, or whatever you call, no appropriate shoes and blankets, just like they rolled out of the bed at the airport. Somebody somewhere thinks that's okay. How do we convey the message that it's not okay, and that what she did is not okay also?
I mean, two people, you could be wrong and right. You could be wrong on one thing and right on another thing. You know what I'm saying? That's life.
Well, no, I agree with you about that. I agree. But I just thought that second time when she did it, because listen, I gave a whole example of how I was wrong and how I saw myself going to prison. I saw it in front of my face. If I continue with this motion, I'm not going to be good. And I was wrong. And I thought that's what she was going to do the next day when she was with her husband, was apologize. But instead of her apologizing, she doubled down on it and was like, this is actually, that contract didn't matter. That didn't matter. That didn't matter. This is why I did what I did.
Well, I think two things, right? I think one, I know you don't like speaking on other people's marriages, but honestly, I think he let that go for a selfish reason. Because you know what? Think about this. If he's the manager, that's her fault. That's his fault that she didn't get what she was supposed to get, right? So I think part of it's like, you know what? Let me protect my ass too. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me protect my butt too, right? And I think, and then the second part is he ain't running the show. So since he's not running the show in a relationship, whatever she go, he's like a yes man at this point, I think.
But you know what? I think that's a terrible look to see your wife that upset. To see her so upset and broken like that, because nothing changed. Meaning I think y'all wasn't there, but her contract said headliner. Money was the same. And then DL said headliner, money was the same. She did her show, money's the same. Nothing changed. What would be such a letdown for a woman to go before a man?
Actually, boss, I want to ask you that situation you talked about, your little fight that you did.
Oh, my fight. My God.
Was you married at the time when that happened?
I didn't even know. I didn't even know to be mad. Y'all, I promise you, I was so caught off guard. I didn't know what was happening. This little woman turned me around, basically, like she was going to run away with my pocketbook, but she didn't. She just moved it out of her way, and she turned around and she looked me, she squared up dead in my face. I hadn't said not two words to her. And she said, I know you. I know the kind of, I know you. I know who you are. I know what kind of woman you are. And she was basically spitting in my face, and she was just going off on me about, I don't even know what. And I just, all in that moment, I just saw my hands going around her neck. And listen, it was an attendant in the grocery store. He ran back there. He was running around.
You're bringing hands on the security box.
He did what? Say it again.
You prayed for her while you was laying hands on her.
I was getting ready to put my hands on her, y'all, and it wasn't gonna be pretty. It was gonna be awful.
So you prayed for her.
The only thing I
Security
think
body
about
got
is
that.
that I can think of, like, you know,
You prayed for that woman. Or you put hands on her. I know you weren't trying to choke her out, was you?
Yes, I was. He was getting ready to-
Oh, she's security boss. She got the chokeholds.
yeah, I was getting ready to get. Yeah, it was bad
And
though.
I thought you was praying over that woman.
No,
hell no.
Beloved.
it was gonna be everything that happened to me from childhood to what, because you know you just don't understand. I don't know. This is good. This is good. I'm glad I'm talking to three men. This is very good because I need y'all to feel me. I need y'all to have some empathy for me, right?
No, we do. The reason why I asked that, because when I asked when you was married at the time, the main reason that would calm a woman down would be the husband.
My husband wasn't there.
And he wasn't there. Exactly, yeah. So, you know.
But I need y'all to
when
feel.
you got home, you probably got more calmer when you told him, and he probably told you, you know what, you have to resort to that and everything. And
No, he was like, babe, what happened? What happened? You know, because I was still like on 10, but I was calm. I was able to talk because remember, y'all, I was exercising, so I still had to run home or walk home. I wasn't at home. I was still having to process everything I had went through. But this is what happened. I need y'all right now because I need you. I don't know if men feel this way. I know women do. You all may not ever feel like victims. Do y'all ever feel victimized? Do y'all ever feel that way? Do you ever feel?
Man, we do. We show it differently or try to hide it and stuff. Because that's
security boss. I've been a victim of an older woman took advantage of me.
Okay, so you remember that feeling you felt that day?
It felt good.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, me. I got into a little car accident, and the dude's a little younger than me, and he tried to flex in my face.
I'm glad. Hey,
He flexed in my face, but you know, at the time, I know I was out of shape. I know this probably younger probably would think they would advance me, but and his girlfriend broke into my car. Well, didn't break, but went inside my car, tried to get insurance, but all my insurance papers in my iPad. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess I had to be the peaceful one, lock myself in the car, call the police till they got there and stuff. You know, there was no damage to our car, but you know, it's the whole situation is like, yeah, my pride would feel like, you know what? I was real pissed off, like, because of my pride. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know I could have easily beat the crap out of this dude, but I was thinking more realistically. At that time, I was out of shape and stuff, but he had no advantage of me. So it's like, I'm not moving as fast like I do. So it woke me up too. I was like, no, I got to get back to the gym also too. Hey, like I've been in hey, I know I've been overpowered, so like, yo.
Hey, man, I said my fat ass couldn't even swing if I wanted to.
And that's not what that's. I'm not even fat, but you know what? I'm not actively moving like I used to. Like, you know, I'm a little chunky, but I'm not actively moving like I used to. My strength level is like, it's like, you know, like if you watch the Obi-Wan series, he's broken down. He hasn't used the Force in so many years. Yeah, that's how I felt.
So, Aaron, have you ever felt like a victim before? Have you ever felt really like a victim? Honestly,
there's been times where I've been in situations where I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna have to eat this real quick. But a victim per se.
So you've never felt like, so y'all are saying y'all have never, well, Mel had a story, but okay, so let me just share this with you.
When I was in third grade.
I felt helpless before. Yes, I have.
Helpless. Helpless.
Yeah, I'll say helpless. Yeah, because I know I'm like, yo, there's nothing I can do, and if the things I can do will not result in a good outcome for me, so I just had to bite the bullet.
Okay, so I need y'all to stay right there for a moment because this is often how children and women, real women, ladies, this is how they feel sometimes. They feel like there's nothing they can do. They just have to accept what's being done, right? They're either not strong enough, they're not smart enough, they're not fast enough, or whatever. So there was a time in my life where I felt like people were just picking on me, just picking for whatever reason, just picking. And I was kind of like in control of it per se. I could see it coming, so I'll know what not to say. I'll know who not to entertain. I could I was maneuvering very well. But this particular day I was tired. I had been exercising. So I just wasn't on my game. So when this woman did it, I was such a victim. I just needed to respond, and I was getting ready to respond. But I'm promise y'all, if that guy didn't come, I was gonna be in the back of a police car with handcuffs on the way to jail. And no matter what, anyone told them, no matter how many cameras angles, I was gonna be guilty.
Shit, for self-defense?
Yeah.
She didn't hit me. She antagonized me.
She was in your area. She's in your circle. If she's in my face, I can feel her saliva. Hell no. You should have choked his ass out.
Yeah,
you
but you can't do it. You can't do it. Especially if it's not a good, especially if the optics are not right. See, the optics were
security boss. She violates your space.
But see, I understand what you're saying.
It wasn't right. It was gonna look like it was gonna look terrible. I'm just gonna say this. It was gonna be a terrible look, no matter how many people or how many camera angles was gonna show exactly how this woman approached me, her all in my face.
Oh, hell yeah. Popping her neck. You should have busted in her mouth, security boss. Wore her ass out.
Yeah, and then listen, Linus, I was not in fear. There was a time where pure anger took over.
Hey, that's what a statement I would have given to the police.
Yeah, Karen was her name, and Karen was on something about herself. But y'all, it was pure. It was no fear because it happened so crazily and so out of the way. It was like, whoa. And I would have been another.
Miss Boss?
Huh?
I would have took all the slavery out on her ass.
Listen, I had went way back. I did. I felt it. It was coming. It was. I had got a whole lot.
This ass whooping.
I had, all the discipline, all the, all the training, all the everything that you go through, listen, you've been out there exercising, your adrenaline going, all of that. All of that was just going. And boy, I tell you, and I still, but listen, this is the crazy part. I don't think I can call her Karen because she disappeared. By the time the police and everybody came and settled it down, that woman was gone. She disappeared. She didn't cry victim. She didn't say this woman did this to me. She didn't say nothing. She disappeared.
You know what you could have done, security boss? You know what? Something, and I've done this before. If it's somebody you can beat, you can handle it, right?
Oh, what? It was gonna be terrible.
Okay. You should have you should let her get a free one real quick so everybody can say, hey, she hit me first. All right, it's it. Get a free one real quick.
You know what?
Sometimes that'll pump my blood up real quick. Let you get a free one off of me. Come on. Let's go.
No, it was none of that. Because I remember
that made me feel alive real quick.
I didn't have time to respond. It was just so many things happening. And I really think now that I'm thinking about it, she might have been some kind of setup. Like, let's see, can I get her?
You don't spit. That's the most disrespectful thing you have.
No, wait a minute. No, she didn't spit on me. It's just that she was close to me and she was talking aggressively and it was just coming out. She did not.
The same thing as spit. I don't give a shit.
Spit on me. I don't know what I would have done. Anyway,
you gotta let her get a free one off real quick so you can get dirty.
BCDC, I was not gonna fight her. It wasn't like that. It wasn't gonna be a good. It just didn't look like
it. Slopping everywhere. You don't know what's going on with her health.
But it's okay. Ladies don't. We get our husbands. You're right. It was not going to be a fight. But my point I'm trying to make.
You should have put a pimp hand on her. You should have slapped
Then she would have sued the place and me. And I actually think that this might have been what this woman was after because she disappeared. She did not say not one time that I did anything to her. She had a complaint or nothing. So I don't know what it was about. But the point I'm trying to make, it goes back to Aaron's point. Whereas he said that, I think Aaron said this, she was doing such a good thing as far as telling the young people, don't do the bonnets and this and this and this. And then she just fell off. And I don't mind somebody falling off, because things happen. If y'all would have saw me on the news, y'all would have been like, damn, that's not security boss. What she do? To see me, hair all over my head, looking crazy after I done whatever. So I would have fallen off. I mean, I had help that day, which was good. But then I would have came back and apologized and said, listen, guys, don't ever do what I did because I lost everything in just an instance. But she didn't do that. So the fact that she fell off was not even valid. So it's like, wait a minute, what you doing?
See, that's the thing. It's like, And like you see this common thing between, and I asked you that question earlier, but you see this common thing between Monique, Amber, Jada. Whenever they do something, they double down on it instead of just saying, you know what, my bad. It was a slip up. They double down on it, and I don't know what. Women, they talk about men's pride. Women got a lot of pride.
Yes, they do.
Y'all got a lot more, because y'all can never just like, you know what, I lost. Cool, I'm gonna take this L. I'm gonna walk away real quick.
We do have a lot of pride and egos. I mean, we're real people. That's why I'm telling you, that's where this victim mentality goes, because we can't be that way. We can't. We're out of order being that way. But we
if they caught you in a situation where you got locked loose, I understand walk away. But man, if they caught my ass on my broken, disgusted day, when I was doing my man 4 days, man, they would have got that ass whooping.
Yeah, and then you got to pay for it though. You got to, because guess what? See, this is how it works.
Y'all gotta look at the long term.
But this is how it works though. Y'all notice the person who normally wins, they're the ones who get punished the harder, because the optics are not good. You know, you done drug this person for air. They be like, why didn't you stop? Why didn't you stop at one blow? I can't stop at one blow. You know,
you gotta finish the job.
Took me. So that's what I'm saying.
That's what the police tell you. I had to eliminate the threat.
Well, I'm gonna have to keep all that in mind. But listen, I'm hoping, praying I never be in a situation like that ever again. But it was a real thing and it happened. And I'm saying to you all, women are sometimes, or they feel like, you know, we have that mindset that we are being victimized because we can't respond in that way. We can't win. I can't beat a man. Now, what if she would have been a man? I can't fight a man. I can't win against a man. So what about a man getting all in my face like that and my husband not there?
Yeah, then, you can't do that. But if it was another woman, you have to be you have to take go from the shoulders, baby.
I'm gonna say 90%. I'm gonna say 90% of the time you're right, but I've seen some little ones knock a dude out, which was crazy, but I have seen it.
You're right, and this is Dorian is exactly right. When you have something to lose, you can't act a fool. Although I would have wanted to. Dorian, you got it.
Yeah, look at long term.
If that boy wouldn't have been there, oh my goodness, y'all. I told my husband I saw myself locked in the back of a police car in handcuffs, riding away. I did, and lost everything. Because in my profession, I can't have things on my record. Y'all know that. I can't be assaulted a woman in the grocery store in the Harris Teeter. I can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you gotta go away from. Sometimes you gotta let your pride go and take a loss. But
that's exactly right.
My broken disgust day, when I ain't had shit to lose, I would have took them to the shoulders.
Right. And you got to understand, we live in amongst a lot of people who think just like that.
Ain't you understand your ground state?
Huh?
Ain't you understand your ground state?
No, I'm not in a I am open carry, but not stand your ground. But you can defend yourself, you know.
That's all I need to hear right there.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear.
But you know what? That's a whole different thing, because I didn't have my weapon that day, but normally I do. So you don't. Somebody was looking for me. I know. They were looking out for me that day. I considered it all a blessing, because I don't even let myself go that way again. I try to always pay attention. But I'm saying that because if a woman does get pushed or feel like a victim, we can't behave that way. But I can understand if we haven't matured or, you know, emotionally mature, then we would act out. And that's what she did. And I understood that. But when is she going to take accountability for anything? That's the problem.
That's so
the pride. Yeah, but you know what happens for pride, don't you? With pride, right?
Comes the fault.
Yeah. So Dusto, how you doing?
All is well. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I promise you, would have fought that. He would have fought that woman up and down the street. That guy Dusto scammed like he would have fought a chick.
No, to be honest, avoided it all costs. Like me, most of my friends, if I saw one of my friends get into it with somebody, I'd do anything, play politician, anything to get them out the situation if possible.
Would you try to get a number, Dusto?
Would
you try to get a number?
No, we're not doing that. But actually did the right thing. The fact that you were able to avoid it at all costs, it's there's no reward. If you'd have dusted her off and karate chopped her in her wig, yeah, it would have felt good though.
I don't know. I don't think it would have.
So you
Because
know what? I can't.
I didn't feel like I had what I didn't feel like I had what I needed right then. I don't feel like I had that stop button on me. I would have went too far. I felt like I was going to go too far.
You know what? I can't say a story one time. Like back in my younger days, when I used to go to the club and everything like that. I went to the club, met some shorty at the club, and got her number. Supposed to meet up afterwards and everything like that. And my homeboy was with me. He got drunk, so we tried to get him an Uber. And so I'm taking him to get the Uber. The Uber sees us, sees he's drunk, drives off. So we sitting on the corner like, damn, that's crazy. So meanwhile, she's texting me the whole time like, yo, what's up? Where you at? And I'm just like, I'm playing it like I don't know what's going on because like I'm trying to help my boy out, And so she walks up to us because this is where all the Ubers are, and she's like, yo, didn't you see me texting me? And I'm like, yeah, but don't you see my boy? She's like, I don't care. And she smacks me. Now I just met this chick.
You just met her?
Yeah.
Yeah, say what? Girl put hands on you, woman you just met?
Yo, so it took every ounce of strength in my body to not, because like the police was looking right at, because the police was right there. The police was looking right at me.
To the restaurant.
What the police do? Did they stop?
The police don't do shit. They was looking at me to see if I was gonna do some shit.
Body shot, bro.
Well, why didn't you tell the police she assaulted me?
Mel, do you have music in your background? Mel, mute out.
I'm near a fan because my room was kind of hot.
They saw it. They were right there.
Go ahead.
They saw it. They were right there.
So what did they do, Aaron?
Nothing. They was looking at me to see if I was gonna do something.
I'll be damned. You should press charges against a trash ass.
So the feminists got the cops on the payroll now.
Yo, all I know is I had to eat it.
You should have pressed charges.
Nah, I would press charges. And being that those cops seen it, and I'm going to press charges, if they don't do nothing, I want their badge number so I can report to them. My tax money is paying their salary so they can do their job.
That's what keep your hands to your goddamn self.
Aaron, how'd you get out of that though? How did you finagle your way away from that though? That's serious.
I literally had to walk away because if I didn't, I would, like you said, I would have been in the back of the police car somewhere.
I would have walked to the officer, officer, I need for you.
Because I also got to think about this. I have like certain, the same thing with your job. On my job, I have certain things. If I get arrested, I can't,
You
so
can't
I gotta, yeah.
So that's most people's job, but don't mean she can't get arrested. I don't give a damn about if she can lose her job or not. I get what shit next.
But when you're sitting there, you see the police right there who could arrest her, and they just looking at you, yo, what you gonna do? You kind of feel like, and I'm like, yo,
since these two clowns ain't gonna do it.
This is the problem with most dudes. They be so overly lenient. Let me take that and assume the police not going to do nothing. No, you have to make them do their job.
No, but you see how the optics of that wasn't right. Even though he was a victim, if he would have retaliated, he was going to be the one to pay because the optics were not right.
No, what I'm saying is the police saw it. Go to them and tell them, yo, she assaulted me. I need you to do your job. Arrest. I'm pressing charges and stuff. This is what I'm complaining about. Most dudes don't do that because it's this masculine thing. I gotta eat this, and the police won't believe me. And you know what? I want badge numbers so I can report to y'all. So y'all had high ups for not doing your job when I needed help.
But Mel, you don't understand. He didn't want the police to get involved. He wanted to hit her back.
Use a fool. Exactly.
That was it. That's all he wanted to do was hit her back, and they was.
First of all, number one, two things. Well, two things. Well, I ain't no woman hitter, but
no,
I did want
no. Don't ever say that because if a woman has a weapon trying to take your life,
you gonna hit her back.
Exactly. Yeah. You do say that righteous stuff. I don't
Aaron, you saying you didn't want to hit her back. You did not want to hit that woman back.
I did. I told you. I'm instructing me not to.
If it comes to a kid that she's trying to take a life of or try to take my life, she getting them 5-finger, 4 knuckles.
I hear you.
I hear
you. It sounds good until them police right there and they just wait for
you. I don't care your word. Like I'm just that way. She's not trying to take my life.
What's that got to do with you pressing charge against the heifer over there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The hell with that shit, dude. A lesson got to be learned. I got to send a goddamn message. That's
Did,
what keep
did
your
you
goddamn
see what the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case have shown? That when you speak up and you win, it's
But
you
he's
know what?
25 years
Not
old.
to mention,
He's 25. That was 20, what was that? Like 13 years ago?
I don't give a damn if it was 2 months.
I mean, I
Period.
understand that, but
She got to go to jail.
Guess what? The reason why she slapped you is because she's done it before. And she's done it. She did it after you too.
exactly.
He said it to somebody. Hey, Shay, I ain't never talk to that chick again.
You like getting beat up by a woman? That might be that nigga shit though. Man, he might be into that though.
Women do certain things
They know
to
they get
do
away with it.
because they don't expect a certain consequences to come back at them.
But that's my point. That was my point.
That's what he's into.
Listen, that's the point. Monique is telling these girls basically that they can talk to men, they can degrade them, and they can say all types of things. She said all types of things about DL, but she's on a stage. These young girls ain't got no stage. Erin's prime example. She ain't had no stage, and he just met her, and she called off and slapped him. That is the craziest thing I have. Oh my God!
She get away with that bullshit, and she tried your ass. Did you go out with her again?
No.
I ain't never talked to that chick again.
No.
I need to know, man. He might be into this shit, man. It might be. It might be about it.
No. So, Scam Likely, what you got to add to this? What are you thinking?
Since when was the gender war over? I didn't see that feature.
Wait a minute. Let me tell them when it was
I
over.
wasn't aware that it was over.
Well, let me tell you when it was over.
Just getting started.
Let me tell you when it was over, because you acting a little. Let me tell you when it was over.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to my channel, there's a little video right there, and Kevin Samuel says the gender war is over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on Security Boss's channel. And then today, when I started the show, I said, here at SB Nation, the gender war is over. So now ask your question again.
When was the gender war over?
Okay, you didn't hear me. So today, when I started the show, I said, thank you, Kevin Samuels, for letting us know the gender war was over. So over here at SB Nation, the gender war is over. So that what that means, because you act like
over here it's over.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Say it again. Say it again.
So over here on this platform is over. But when I click the pink X, the leave, and then we go back out there, still things are what they are.
You are an adult man, about 41 years old. I cannot be responsible for what you do when you're not here at SB Nation.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about me. I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, well, whoever else may have that concern. But what I can do for you, is tell you, I need you over here at SB Nation. And I could tell you that we need to be promoting being the best version of ourselves. And when we do that, we have no need for a gender war.
So this is a safe haven.
Very safe.
Hey, Dusto, you go out here and find one of these eligible single ladies. You feel like the gender war is over, but I promise you.
See?
Yeah, you got. I mean, yeah, I got you.
So
going to
no. Dusto, let me give you some clarity. Dusto, let me give you some clarity. Over here, I see no need for the gender war, because the males are going to promote themselves and be the best version of themselves, and they're going to get the women they want. So ain't no need in talking about nothing else.
That's right.
And the women, they're gonna be doing the same thing. They're not gonna be like Monique with the bonnets. They're not gonna be like Monique with all the measuring up the men and equaling up. We're not gonna do that over here. So I figure if you carrying this within yourself, wherever you go, that's what's going to be the light. That's gonna be the light in you. And you ain't gonna have to worry about no gender war. So if those other people want to continue on with the bad behavior, like she displayed on Saturday, and some of the other about trying to blame the men for whatever they do and the women for whatever they do, they can continue to do that. But remember, I'm promoting marriage and being the best version of yourself. So that's all love right there. So where can we be having a war at?
We're about positive solutions over here.
Yeah, where's the war?
I joined in the middle. It was talking about DL Hughley versus Monique, and I'm like, that's gender war.
You couldn't come. No. We actually didn't really talk about it.
It's over.
It's over. The gender war is over. We were just talking about the message that Monique put out there to the women being a negative one. And we don't want that to be the message anymore. And women who did hear it and who follow her, We're just trying to figure out how we can reprogram them so they'll know that the man is not the problem.
So, I get you. Security boss, but you guys got to think about it like this. Monique was trying to weaponize her femininity.
Exactly. She was.
So that's part of the gender war.
No. Because
Femininity she ever had.
let me tell you why not. Because I pointed out the number one fact about femininity, and this is all we have to worry about, and that is the self-control with being feminine. That's the first part. That's where we at now. That's what we're talking about. She didn't have any. And she was not interested in being feminine. Y'all know that. So we're not going to promote what she did. We're going to say what she did that was incorrect and do the opposite. So there again, no war.
Exactly.
And we also said she had no covering. There was no, Bolo said it a long time ago, she was not covered. But we're not going to blame her husband for it. But he's trying to tell us we need to excuse her behavior. But instead of us calling it out, we're going to say, okay, this is what you shouldn't do. Still no war. And we're moving on.
Exactly. Like we're showing the problem, but we also counteracting with a solution. Unlike other panels, it's just back and forth, point of views back and forth so much. No, we providing solutions.
There's no war. I mean, both of them are wrong. I mean, they're married and wrong. They're living in it, married and wrong. How about that? Where's the war? Married and wrong. And again, I tell you all the time, I don't like to talk about people's marriages because marriage to me is the answer, right? And what people do and agreements they have in marriage is totally up to them. I try to promote successful marriages that are built on principles, and there's no war in that. That's all about love. And all you got to do is find that person that's willing to walk that journey with you and have those same principles with you, and there's no war. So,
hey, boss, Ali shouted you out on Anton's interview the other day. Yesterday, right? Yeah.
Who?
Ali. Real Femme Sapien. She shouted you out.
I'm going to be on her show June 23rd. I don't know exactly when that day that is, but I'm going to be on her show on June 23rd.
I can't wait to see that. Other married women, teaming up with other married women, submissive, feminine women, providing solutions and everything.
Yeah, we're not having a war anymore. So, Dusto, what are you talking about when you say a war? You only have to tell me. It's okay. There's no war. So do you have something that would be contrary to war that you want to add to, how we can make men or any encouragement for men to be the best version of themselves? So there's no war. I don't see the war in it. I think a woman would love to be with you. I can't see what the war would be about.
Okay.
In reality, I don't really deal with like the war and the chaos and the women, the quacking and yakking. Only when I come over to the Dusto channels, and that gives me an excuse to practice my trolling.
So I'm gonna need you to change your name when you come over here. It's gonna be chaos.
So I might as well have some fun. I mean,
I'm gonna need you to change your name. I'm gonna need you to change your name when you come over here. You know you can be Dusto. You can't even be Scam Likely. I'm gonna call you DP.
Don't use DP. No, not that.
Here's something good. Linus, let's do the oh, listen, I got some men with me today. So I need some y'all.
Mr. Patterson.
You want it? You the next contestant?
Line come right. She says we want to see Scam Likely on I Choose You. Hey. Come on, Scam. Scam, men that can dance. Move your shoulders. Men that can dance with all the women, Scam.
Hey, that's 59. You only get one shoulder. That's $59.95.
Scam.
Scam Likey's dancing service are $59.95.
Lessons. You know men that can dance with all the women, don't you? You knew that.
Say what?
Men that can dance get all the women.
I can almost dance. Almost.
It's a pimp.
Hey, they can paint it for you, man.
Uh-oh.
What's going on back there?
What's going on? Mel, you better not be hurting nobody's kids.
I need to call CPS.
We got them on 911. We got the number now.
He's over laying hands on the kids. They get out of line.
I don't know who the Dusto channels are, but we're gonna have to give you another name when you come over here because we are not at war.
Hey, look, I tell you this. I'm gonna see you on that I Choose You, though. I'm looking forward to seeing that, baby.
Nah,
Did,
I know this much.
did y'all see the new Bachelor? I at the beginning of the show, I showed you who the new Bachelor is going to be for the second half. The second half is coming.
The Bachelor, I'm gonna play.
No, listen.
Hey, you
Listen, J.R. Wisdom is the new Bachelor for the second
Okay.
half of I Choose You. He's going to be finding his bachelorette. So all the ladies who are in the chat, your girlfriends or whoever's looking for a good man, y'all first got to go over to J.R. Wisdom's channel. He's an out.
Security boss. Why we keep skipping my man, though? Dusko needs him a good lady. Man, we got to get Dusko in.
Dusto say he don't need no help. He about trolling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm about that troll life. Troll
He
life.
say he don't need no help with no woman. He just like to come on here.
Them nights gonna get lonely. He gonna need something. That jerkers ain't gonna keep lasting long.
Dusto, what you got to say about that? I mean, scam.
He called you Quagmire.
I'll be all right. Or I can buy a dog and die alone. That's the option. Or I can import.
He called you Quagmire.
Listen, as Dorian says, soft, strong, feminine
I just
the weapon we need, ladies. I agree. But you know what?
I guess they kind of sex.
I'm not a fake troll. I'm certified.
Goodness, soft. Yeah.
I'm going to have to get the Jergens out tonight. I read that statement.
So listen here. What are y'all willing to do for the ladies, though? What are y'all willing to do to help us achieve? Scam Likely, what are you willing to do to help us achieve women, all women, to help us achieve this femininity and stay in our happy place? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to do anything?
Am I willing to what?
Are you willing to do anything to help us women? Because remember, we're done with the war. So over here, we're helping each other be the best version of ourselves. So I'm saying, what can you contribute to even myself, for me to stay in my happy feminine energy and all of that? What kind of advice can you give me?
That's a trick question.
Why?
Okay. The men are told this is what you need to do and the person that you need to become. You need to be productive. You need to have some discipline, have some guidance, some wisdom, some structure, some consistency, some casheline, some abs. And it's like, okay, let's work on that stuff. The gym, content, reading, communicating, do everything better. And
I'm trying to become a better person. Won't you give me one activity a week? Say you said discipline.
So I'm saying, aside from all of that, also, men.
No, Scam. I'm serious. I'm saying to you.
No, I'm asking the question.
If you met a woman that really needed your guidance as a man and you needed to offer something to them and you would say, listen, why don't you what? Just give me one thing.
I'm trying to put this picture together. So I meet a woman and she ain't feminine. She's overweight. She's masculine. And she's asking me what to do. No, I didn't say all that. I didn't say none of that. What you said.
Go on Kevin Samuel's show and pick up one of them chicks.
I'm trying to say, a woman comes to me.
I'm saying,
what is she asking?
Woman, listen to me. I'm not saying there's something wrong with the woman. I'm saying one of these women right here that are in this live or on this chat right now, making these comments. We're here all trying to be the best version of ourselves. And you would say, you know what, ladies, let me tell you something that always is good. Why don't you all try this? Not that we haven't achieved it, not that we could be there already, but what would be something that you could leave us to keep us in our happy feminine spot versus saying, oh, you fat, you overweight, you need to go to the gym. You 303 right now, you need to be 135. I'm not talking about that. The war is over. The war over. I'm talking about, I need your help. How you going to help me? And then there's nothing between me and you. I'm talking about men who have good advice, helping women who want to be in their feminine, happy, good wives, want to be married, all of that. I'm talking about women standing in feminine, that's this period, being good people, living long, productive lives, not acting out, not being victims, just good, solid advice to keep us in a good place. You already answered the question. They need to go to the gym, need to stop being victims. They need to be feminine. They just need to do the work. Instruction on it. Give me instruction. Come in for some instruction. Okay. Go to the gym, lose weight, eat better. But what makes you think I'm overweight? Smile. Cam up. If they actually, I like that. I like that. Something that shows that they actually value
Like, hey, a man is worth this amount.
Wait a minute. Don't take the premise. No. This is not man to woman. This is just you as a man talking to a woman. It's not any comparison. It's just
talking about, I would tell a woman to do something to show that the man is valuable.
No, this is not about the man. Remember, I said over here, we're becoming the best version of ourselves. But I'm taking advice from men, and I'm hoping men are taking advice from me. It doesn't have to be that I'm doing anything wrong. It doesn't have to be that you're doing anything wrong. So let's go with your going to the gym. You say, you know what, ladies? It always makes me feel better to go to the gym and run for 30 minutes. That would be, whoever needs to grab that or needs to hold on to that would be good. Because if I did it, it would make me the best version of myself. And then I can come back and report that, you know what, Scam? The other day, last week, you said running 30 minutes a day or every other day really helps you feel better. It really does. You get what I'm saying now?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say,
you know what?
Use this as an example, Patterson. Let's say she's your woman and y'all dated for a while, but she's falling for you. She wants to see a future with you. She'll ask you, hey, babe, I really like you and everything. So I want us to be in a committed relationship. What do you want of me, to make sure this work, everything? And then you'll tell her, what are your obligations, everything. We'll know how we want to make this work, this committed relationship work. Yeah.
If I'm already there,
that conversation before we even anything.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm already there, then that means she's already doing what it is that I need her to do. That's why she's there.
That's what I want to say. So now boss could say what you're about to say to her, so she could pass on to the other females to see how it works. Now to see how your structure works.
Mel, hold on for a minute. Scam Likely, you're taking it from a position that a woman's going to have everything together. We're not going to be perfect. You have to, in order for us to be for you, we have to basically adapt to what it is you like and don't like. So we're not going to know everything. There may be some things, and she may come to you very innocently and say, you know what, I got so much in my head right now. And then you could freely say, you know what, I exercise about 3 or 4 times a week. Is she not overweight? It just could be something that you offer to her to make her the best version of herself. But before you say anything, let me ask Mr. Michael Richardson, can you put your comment in the chat for me again? Because we went back and Mr. Boss cannot find it. So we apologize if we missed your super chat, but I do want to answer your question, and I do want to give you the Moneyline song if we fail to do so. So please do that for me, Michael, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Hey, Gretchen, how you doing? So Scam Likely, are you seeing what I'm talking about? Like, you seeing kind of what I'm saying now?
I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is, women that I've dated or that was in relationships with, the reason I was in a relationship is because we didn't have to have these conversations. They were doing the things.
Right, but I'm not talking about someone you're in a relationship
who
with.
Aren't doing the things. There won't be a conversation.
But I'm not talking about the people that you're in a relationship with. I'm talking about random women, just random people, women. Are you saying right now that you can only talk to people who you yourself are dealing with? You have nothing to offer. You wouldn't have anything to offer me in making me better as a person.
What kind of doctor are you? What kind of doctor are you, man?
I'm a quack, straight up. But no, when people call me, like when I talk to just females, friends of mine, they'll say a specific issue, and then I'll tell them something. And usually they wanted me to tell them what they wanted to hear. They didn't want actual real advice. They want me to tell them that it's Disney and everything, Most of them are listening.
You know what, Security Boss?
Remember,
That's the problem right there.
Okay, like
I got something for you.
But listen, I'm gonna let you give me an example, but I first need to make sure you're understanding my question. What I'm saying is, you have something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me, please. You have something to offer, and it's positive.
Okay.
And you're holding it in for just yourself or just the woman that you want to meet. I'm saying to you, please don't hold it in. Share it with me, whatever it is. Hey, Just Jay, share it with me. If it's Security Boss, if you go to the gym 3 days a week and you run for 30 minutes, you'll feel much better. I will accept that from you, but I'm just saying that may not be what you're saying. Or even if you say, you know what, security boss, I got a lot of results or a lot of results from drinking 6 bottles of water a day. You know, ladies, if y'all do 6 bottles of water a day and y'all ever had any problems, this will make you feel better. Or just anything, Scam. It has nothing. We're not making it heavy. Just anything to promote a woman. Because remember, we're doing positivity. There's no more war because we're doing the best version of ourselves. So whatever you have to offer that's positive, it doesn't mean that I'm not being the best version of myself. I'm not trying to be. It's just that everyone has something to offer. No one knows everything.
So just something general that I think some women should be doing.
That would be, yes.
Listen better. Listen what when this man is talking. If it's a man and you actually have interest, make a decision. Are you interested or are you not? Because there are a lot of women who will spend time with the man and are not really interested. They're there for validation and fake attention. Stop doing that.
How do you know we doing that? What is it that I do that makes you feel like I'm not listening?
Talking over a man, or no matter what he says, the default being he's wrong and you're right, versus actually hearing what the person has to say.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is a man standing here. I'm always right. He knows just a little bit less information than I do, just because he's a man and I'm the woman.
Oh, you're saying that the woman thinks that she knows more than the man?
Yes.
Okay, so wait a minute though. Listen, we didn't have that conversation. You don't know that. You're just generally speaking, women, I need y'all just to listen to men a little bit more, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
also,
good.
Do something to show that he's valuable. That's
too vague though. That's too broad. How do you do that? It has to be more.
Take a risk.
Huh?
Like, I hear or see women asking for risk-free relationships.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Huh?
What is that? How do you get you're dealing with a person, another individual? How is it risk-free?
Risk-free meaning they want the guy to do this and do this, and they're not comfortable with this. Oh, I'm not comfortable.
But Sam, you're not
to go and put himself out there.
You're not saying anything. Relationship. Listen,
I get what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
I don't.
So like
trying to keep them from relationship, because relationship is easy when you're the best version of yourself, because the woman that you deserve, or the man that you deserve, comes to you.
Yeah, but I think he said. But I think what he's saying is that like a lot of women want men who are already pre-made. They're at the top of the game. They're already making their money, and she could come in whatever level she's at, and he's just supposed to accept that. But so she's supposed to have no risk.
After go ahead, Aaron.
She's supposed to have no risk involved. If anything slightly makes her uncomfortable, then it's bad on him. Versus like. And she's not like if she's not willing to ride the waves, the ebbs and flows of what the relationship goes through of life. She just wants to. Hey, everything needs to be perfect. I need to go to Dubai every week already. Like, hey, I'm 250 right now, but hey, I still fly me out to Dubai. Still do this, do that for me, and everything should be perfect. That's what he's saying.
What I would say is
what
I would say is we understand those type of females what they want, but they don't matter. We don't care about females. No, we don't care about those females because we know what they're about. They're selfish. We're talking about the females that willing to contribute to get the men that they want. How can they be better versions for us? So what advice can we give to them so they can be better versions for us?
Mel, so women are reacting. They don't know what they're actually.
Hold on.
I know what I'm reacting to. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know what? We're not worrying about. That's what SB is trying to tell y'all. We about solutions. We know about those type of females. They don't matter over here. We're worrying about the other females.
We're not talking about relationship. We're not even.
Those females are not talking about relationship. They're selfish. We're talking about women that, you know what, they wanted to give.
So SB, I'm about to go to the gym. Can I give you my answer real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So I would say this: women seek to be additive. Seek to add. Yes, if you have your PhD, you're making your money too. Guess what? Don't think of it as think of it as an addition to what he's making as well. Don't think of it as he needs to do better than me. He may need to do better than you, sure, but think of it as you're adding. So if you make 150, he makes 150. That's 300,000. Think of it like that. Think of it as you're adding to a piece of a puzzle to make things better, right? And if you're seeking to add, you'll always be in a situation where things can always improve because you're thinking that you have a role in it as well. And I think a lot of times we're taught that women don't need necessarily have a role when they do have a role. And I think that's what's happening in this modern society. We are taught that everything should just be laid out for you already when you come in.
So guess what? The lioness is taking notes. She said, first thing, listen more. Second thing, seek to add. See, this is what women need, okay? This is what people need. Because now, even though you didn't give a whole explanation of what you're saying or what you want or whatever, it makes us think about it. It makes us think, oh, add. Wonder what they mean about add. How can I? So now I can go back and process what adding means to me, how that looks. How can I add to my man? You know, it kind of makes me think about it. What can I be doing? Blah, blah, blah. And so and that's a positive thing. It's positive. So then when that woman comes up, she can definitely tell me then what's that positive thing that she can put out there to men to make them understand us more or make them a better husband or man for a wife. A better husband for a wife. You get what I'm saying? Because then, you know, you're making each party better. You know, we're not tearing each other down anymore. What I'm not doing doesn't matter because it's not working anyway. I want to do something. I don't want to not do, and you keep telling me I'm not doing. I want to know how to do it. But I'm not getting a good handle on what it is I need to do. Just tell me, and it doesn't have to be for you. It's for everybody. It's for whoever needs to know that they need to be an additive. It's for whoever who needs that. You know.
I want to give another point.
Okay, Mel.
Don't be afraid to have taboo talks. In other words, what turns you on, what turns me on. I need to discuss about that. That's definitely the most important thing. And if it's important for you women to be in a certain look and shape and everything, let her know that and figure out a way that y'all can maintain that attraction towards each other and be in shape for each other, look good for each other, even bring out the best in y'all and everything. So, you know?
That's really good, but that means we're in a relationship. I'm talking about people who may not be just individually trying to improve on who you are.
That works also too. If you're in a relationship, also too. Like let's take you know, you got to know what type of man, what type of woman. Sorry, I messed it up. Missed on my words. All right, women got to know what type of man that they want, what he likes. If he likes this woman of a certain look and stuff like that.
I think it's a foundational problem before it even starts.
Huh?
The bigger issue is woman wants a man. Why do they want that man? Are they actually trying to give the man a wife or not? Are they coming in good faith? If they're not, nothing that they actually do and none of the actions that they're doing even matter because they're temporary. They're only to get something, and that's not going to last.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say this, but life in general, everything's a give and take.
But see, that's why they're additive.
She's not going to get with you if she don't feel like she could benefit out of it the same way you're not going to get with her. You're not going to benefit out of it. So you got to accept that reality. There's going to be a give and take in a relationship. There's going to be compromise. So
right. The thing about this right now is today everybody wants to take and nobody wants to give. So that's why I said be additive, because when you're additive, that brings in the give.
No, I'm talking about coming in good faith, because there are people. Okay,
being additive solves for that too.
Scam likely. I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying. I think we're missing each other, and I don't know why. I think you must be.
I'm lost.
You're a much deeper thinker than I am. Let's come up. Let's get a little more surface. I want you to be surface for a moment. Just be surface. Okay. All I want you to do is, if you were talking to a group of people, men and women, and someone said, these women in here are wanting to be the best version of themselves. What can you tell them? The best version, just for themselves. They want to be the best version of themselves. Good women. Would you have anything to say to them on how they could achieve that? Not knowing any problems, not knowing any issues. Just would you have anything to offer them on how to become the best versions of themselves?
Yes, but I would first ask them who they are right now.
No, we have a platform of 50 people. It's not, it's just an open. So you're saying there's no generalizing with you. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm trying to answer it. I'm just trying to put the picture together. Like a woman comes to me and she asks me, "Hey, I'm looking for a husband. What do I do?"
Not a woman. You're standing in front of a group of people. They brought you in because you're a fitness guru. I'm just making up stuff now. Okay. You're a fitness guru, and there's women and men in there, and you're speaking, and you say, "Hey guys, listen, to improve on yourself." What would you say to them?
And they're looking for husbands.
Nah, I didn't say none of that. Nope, just to make them the best version of themselves, something that can add to their life. I didn't say anything about husbands. I didn't say anything about hooking up. I didn't say anything about being a wife or anything. We're just being the best version of ourselves.
Okay. I would tell them to be more feminine, be soft, be friendly, smile more, be positive.
That's perfect.
Know when to talk and know when not to.
That's perfect.
Change your environment. Make sure you're around people. Get away from these people and get with these people. Get away from those people and get with these people.
Okay, you took a turn there for me, but okay.
Okay, evaluate your 5 friends, the ladies and men that you hang around. If they are unproductive, go find 5 new friends and do 5 new different things to get it.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know. So Scam, tell me again about that last part. You would just, if you would just say randomly, change your environment, and if you're around people that are not good, definitely change them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If you're around people and they're not productive, or they're pulling and they're taking from you, go do different things to be around better people.
Okay, that's excellent. What you just said was excellent.
Like if they're around a bunch of single women who are acting crazy, go talk to some married women. Actually, go talk to some married men. Go talk to some single men. But avoid the women who are. Actually, Rodney asked me a question earlier. She had posted it and I couldn't remember what it was.
Someone asked you a question earlier?
Writing the 6 had posted a comment earlier about what would I say to a woman trying to look. I can't remember what the comment was.
But do you understand what I'm saying now?
Now I do.
Okay. So you were making it deeper than what I was, because see, it doesn't have to be that deep, because when people are the best version of themselves, they find where they want to go, or they find themselves. In other words, that's what they project. That's what you start projecting. The best, you have nothing, there's nothing left but goodness, softness, kindness, whatever it is, because you're being the best version of yourself. And all this other stuff we're talking about will come naturally if that is what they're supposed to be.
And one thing I would add to that is there has to be trust. And trust meaning that I understand you can be skeptical, but be skeptical beforehand. But once you decide to choose somebody, let there be trust. Relax all that. You've chosen somebody. Let there be trust. So you can be additive, so you can be feminine. Because if you don't have that trust, it's a consistent competition, and you're consistently just looking out for yourself.
All right,
so you have to have that trust.
I'm going to respond to writing the 6. Oh, go ahead. I'm going to respond to writing the 6 comment while it's fresh. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because we don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead. Hurry up and respond to it.
The question is saying, for a lady wanting to know how to attract one of my friends, I guess she's asking what to do. What to do to attract somebody that's like one of my friends.
You still want to have a friend zone?
Huh?
A lady wanting to know how to attract your friends. So she's saying she wants to know what kind of lady would you introduce your friend to? I'm assuming that's what she's saying. And how did you know that question's for you?
Because she had a question she had asked earlier that was similar.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what it was.
Okay, so listen, if you had a friend or even your brother, let's make it more dear, your brother. If a woman wanted to meet your brother, what would you tell her to become what would you tell her she needed to do to make sure she was able to attract your brother?
Yeah, I use my friend. He married and he different.
Okay.
He's married. If somebody wanted to attract one of my friends or somebody like me, be slim and trim, smile, be nice, make it known that you're single and you exist. All you got to do is show up in the space.
Wow.
But if they are coming correct, they're not going to make it to one of my friends because I'm a taker.
Stop. You can't have but one woman now. You can't have.
Make it to the friends.
But listen, you understand? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all understand? Yep. The war is over. There's no gender war at SB Nation. So if that's what you want, you might have to go. No, you will have to go somewhere else because I'm not about that. We're trying to be the most positive show that there can be. Now we're not going to be foolish to say that that's bad behavior doesn't go on, and we might even call it out. We talked about Monique for a long time today, but that's what we don't want, and that's not what we're going to do. Now it's time to figure out how we can be the best version of ourselves.
So somebody asked earlier, what is trust? I put it like this.
Oh, actually, I gotta go.
If you have your hands like this,
for not understanding what you were saying earlier.
Right? If you have your hands like this,
I gotta roll out. Y'all have a good evening.
You can't let anything else in. If you come into a relationship with your fist balled up, you can't let anything else in. If you have open arms, open hands, then you can, and you open yourself up, then you can allow things to come in, and you can get a better result. You have to make sure that but therefore you have to make sure that you are looking for and displaying the right things.
Okay. That's kind of deep, Aaron. Listen, don't you lose that drive to go in there and exercise because you out there sitting and listening to me.
No. I got my workout is, I got to do the start of my workout. I'm doing a June challenge.
Okay.
Where I'm doing 200 dips, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 50 burpees every day.
Okay, you need to send that to me. SB Show at 2020. See, that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that could be very good. Send that to me, and I'll cut it in half, and I'll do it too.
Wait, hold on. That's in addition to your regular workout.
Of course, I walk all the time. So I'm saying, send it to me. SB Show 2020 at gmail.com. So listen, B says, hey B, how you doing? She says, SB, conversations like today is why I'm a fan. Thank you. Your insight is always unbiased and the way you communicate is full of compassion. Thank you. I'm glad someone noticed. I'm trying. The war is over, B. It's good to see you though. But listen,
hey, do you think women show enough like just interest in guys?
Well, let me tell you something. I think in the real life spaces, I think they do. But on YouTube spaces, I think women are, I think men are kind of hard on women and women are very hard on men. So they can't show interest because it's always met with, so that's what I'm saying. Over here, I want it to be a place where you don't have to be met with that type of opposition. Put out what you want to put out, Let's hear from each other. Let me hear what you got. Aaron, let me hear what you got going on today. Blah, 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 blah. And we could still become better versions of each, of who we are versus all the negativity about what I did wrong. Cause I may mess up, I might mess up. You might mess up. That's a real thing. But it's a real thing that we might mess up, but is it okay for us to mess up and be like, damn, I messed up. Let me tell y'all what I did. Let's share a story. This is what happened. But I'm back now. This is this, and this. So I'm not interested in any more gender wars. It doesn't make sense to me because men and women are still having sex. So it ain't for real. It's almost like we mad during the day, but at night it's okay. Does that make sense? No. Women are still having babies by men and men are still doing what they do. So what? I don't get it. Where's the war in this? It ain't gotten to the point where it's, I don't like men no more. I ain't sleeping with them. Somebody's still sleeping with somebody. Kids are still being born. Relationships are still happening. People are still being married. So
right. Well, what I mean by genuine interest, I mean like, all right, like I think all those things can happen. And people still don't show interest in each other. All those things can still happen. Still people. So, for example, if we come and we see all these superficial standards people have, right? And these standards, like I know this is prevalent, it's magnified on YouTube, but it is prevalent in real life as well. So if you have all these superficial standards, you could easily say, hey, this person makes this kind of money. All right, cool. This person works out. All right, cool. And you really don't have any interest in each other, like on a deeper level than that. You guys get together and that happens, right? That happens all the time.
And it's not going to be work.
What I mean by interest is, do you have an interest in who that person actually is as a person? And I don't think a lot of people are taking the time to, and I think it's being very much ignored to take an interest in who that person actually is as a person.
Well, you're exactly right. But what I call it is an organic relationship. There's a real organic relationship brewing. There's a real attraction. I like this person as a person, and oh, they look good too. That's what you're talking about. But that's the reason why we haven't made it all the way into marriage relationships. That's what's keeping us standoffish. That's why we taking notes. She got to look this way. He got to do this. He got to do this. And he got to do that. Now, everybody really knows that money comes and goes. And guess what? I've never met so many men that make six figures in my life. You know, it's amazing to me. I think I'm doing the wrong thing. I work for mine, but they just seem like they just show up and they got six figures, you know. But I don't know. But still, we absolutely know that this is not a real thing. There are average men, and I don't mean average as in average. I mean, there are men that make regular income, which is somewhere between 40 and 60,000. They work hard. You know, I told a whole story about how my dad worked 2 jobs in his whole entire life. And one of that job was Duke Energy, or Duke Power, then Duke Energy. He worked that job his whole entire life. And he retired in the 90s. That was it for him. And that job right till now, he's 82. That job is still paying him because he put all that time into that job, and he's living off the money market account that he took, because when he left, he rolled it over instead of taking it out. So even in his quote financial illiteracy, he was able to set up a time, or set up himself for his life. And he wasn't a 6-figure man, but he put the time in, which like we believe this. I believe in men that work, warehouse jobs, or build cars, or work at GM. That's a real thing. That work at the energy company, or work at the water company. I can't take nothing from these men. They're not making 6 figures, but they got everything else. They get all the holidays off. They got all the bonuses. They get all the stock options. Why wouldn't you want that? And live in a regular house. Maybe live in a $200,000 house instead of a $400,000 house. What's wrong with that?
See, the problem is folks want to go to Dubai every weekend.
Dubai?
That's what that's chicks.
I hear some things are happening to you over in Dubai, and we might want to stay away from that.
No, I'm not. I don't care. Listen, I'm looking at people's Instagrams, and like they'll go to vacation, and I've seen this happen in like real time. Somebody like will go on vacation and they'll post a little vacation pic, and they'll take several of those pictures and they'll spread those pictures out over a period of time and act like they go on vacation every week.
Okay, but listen, who cares about, are we really, does that really make us, well, let me tell you something. Okay, all fairness, I did say last Friday, I think it was, that I have seen people who take 2,000 plus money and go on vacation every year. Now that was something my husband and I sacrificed, because we don't have $2,000 in vacation money to spend every year. We don't have it. And guess what? Those people who do it come and ask us for money. But I'm trying to figure out why you do it.
Right. But what I'm saying is, folks want that illusion that they're living this life of luxury, which therefore trickles down. Because if you see all your friends going on vacation, quote unquote, every weekend, and all of a sudden you're looking like, you're looking at your guy like, how come we not going on vacation every weekend? And it kind of like puts a cycle into your mind, into some people's minds, like, we're not living up to the standard of everybody else.
But see, that's the problem.
That's a huge problem.
That's the problem. You looking at other people doing certain things and thinking, we all know by now most people live in a fake life. We already know. So if you keep comparing what you see online so much, you're gonna be trapped on it. It's just like how dudes, they get so angry with women so much because they spend too much of their time looking at a particular specific type of female consistently online. So they're gonna think every female's like that. They keep looking at party girls so much, they thinking every female's like that. And it's not. They can't get out of that delusion because you spend too much time in one particular area like that. That's like, get out in the real world and figure out what's best for you, what you want, what you like, and go out there.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, and that's the thing. But that's the thing we have to point out, and that's the thing we have to remedy, because if we don't point that out, if people are consistently living this delusion that, man, I'm missing out on something, when in reality she didn't go to Cancun this weekend. She took a picture at the local beach and posted it.
But see, stuff like that, I think that kind of starts the war, because you feel like if you have this, then you can have this. But no one ever told you that six figure wasn't right anyway. Or Kevin Samuels did tell you that was only that was less than 1% or less than 10% of the man in the United States. So if it's less than 10% of the man in the United States, why are you worried about it? Less than 10% of all the men in the United States. So that means a blue collar man with a regular salary, or a man that works hard, a union worker. Like I said, listen, I love a city worker. My husband wasn't one, but I love a police officer or a state trooper. What is wrong? Well, I don't know what, I love a military guy. I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know. Y'all just ain't get it. I won't.
Yeah, it's like we know that technically people that make over six figures like that, big money like that, they're not flossing as hardly like you think it is. Because the problem is we looking at a specific group of people, which is mostly celebrities, that's flossing like that. Actual people, business people, especially old money generation like Warren Buffett and all that stuff, even Elon Musk, they're not flossing like that online like that. They living very
no.
I would say yes and no. There's different types of people.
They're not necessarily flossing online, and then you can have it, but guess what, y'all? It spins. You still want some more. It shouldn't change who you are. But even then, you have to put parameters on yourself. My husband and I have a business. We make good money, been in business a long time, but we still sacrifice. We still don't be like, okay, we're going on vacation every year and spend $2,000 plus. Why would I do that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you see them going to VIP so much in the club. I'm like, really? Like, VIP's in my house. Why am I paying for something that I already am? I already am a very important person.
I had a very, I ain't gonna call a friend. I had somebody dear to me. Where were they at? Where did they go? Jamaica. In Jamaica. On the way to Jamaica, telling me they on their way to Jamaica, but they feeling kind of funny because their money ain't right.
And guess what? Six figures ain't really that pot of gold. Like everybody talking about. Six figures isn't really a pot of gold like everybody talking about.
That's the point. You on your way to Jamaica. I'm at home. And they on their way to Jamaica telling me I ain't feeling too good because my money ain't right. But you on your way to Jamaica. What do you mean? I'm at home.
Exactly.
How come it ain't enough that you on your way to Jamaica? You can't make it work. That ain't good enough for you. You got to have some more. But that's my point I'm trying to make. That's why I say the gender wars doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. You can just what we call them a blue collar worker. I think Just Jay said that was blue collar workers are fine. Union workers are fine. A good man is what you're looking for. And men, a good woman that is willing is what you're looking for. A hospital, whatever the situation, a city worker. I'm telling you, y'all, we need benefits. It's more to men than just how much money they make. And I'm not going to keep saying this. I got with mine when he was broke, but he had a plan. And that's what's most important. You want a man that has a plan. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what it is. You want a man, because the money
add to that plan.
The money can be quite easy to make. I'm trying to tell y'all, money can be easy to make, because when you're in the proper union, you're blessed. And when you get blessings, money cometh. I don't know if y'all know about all that, but anyway, it's just not as hard as we make it. But the role I'm trying to play is that getting people together and being positive in it, because we all have something that we can offer that's positive. All the negative about what this one's doing and what this one's not doing doesn't make any sense. And that's not what we're talking about. If I'm not doing it, tell me what I need to do. Just simply like that. It doesn't have to be that I'm not doing it, but tell me what I can do. So that's what I'm trying to convey to men. Tell me what I can do. It doesn't mean I'm not doing it. Just put it out there in the air. Don't be like, all you women be doing this, all y'all be doing that. And then the women, man, y'all ain't hitting nothing. Y'all always leaving us, beating us, and cussing us out. Listen, it doesn't have to be that way. What can I do? You can love me. Mm-hmm. You can open the door for me. You can call me at the end of the day and say, hey, babe, you can thank me on a Monday. Thank me for what? For whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It could just be that simple. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be. I'm just telling you, it's just not as hard as it could be. It's just not as hard as we make it, but we got to put efforts on to make it better. And that's what I'm here for. Gregory Scotland, Mr. Scotland, what did you say? I wanted to try to read that. There is not a gender war. Let me see. It is the rational, disciplined men and honorable women versus hyenas and simps. But listen, you know what? I'm kind of glad you said that, because I don't know a hyena and I'm not familiar with any simps. So that would really take me totally out of whatever that is, because that doesn't exist for me. I'm not sure who we're talking about. We might be talking about them Pookie and Ray Rays that Kirk was talking about earlier. And Kirk is saying already that he's putting the Pookie and Ray Rays to work. And once the Pookie and Ray Rays get a job, they no longer Pookie and Ray Ray, right?
No, you can be a Pookie Ray Ray and be rich.
You can?
Nick Cannon's a Pookie.
Oh my God. Why is Nick Cannon a Pookie?
Didn't he have like 10 babies in the past year?
They his babies, right?
He can't take care of 10 different baby mamas.
What you saying? Why he can't take care of them? They don't know about each other.
No, they know about each other. What I'm saying is, how you gonna take care of 10 different? I don't know. I think that's a Pookie shit.
Be in 10 different places at one time.
Exactly.
He's not. I don't know the situation, but he don't have them all in one house. You saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's just baby breeding, like, you know, like
does that make him a Pookie and a Ray Ray? That make him Pookie Ray Ray? That make him a Pookie?
I wouldn't say that because he's still making money and stuff, and he's taking care of his kids despite.
I think Pookie necessarily both.
I thought a Pookie was a person that couldn't take care financially, want to take care of their kids. Them the ones that's always talking about they want to be there, but they never have any money. That's why I thought a Pookie.
Yeah, Pookie and Ray Ray.
I think those are Pookies, yes. But I think if you're not, to me, if you're not involved in with your kids,
yeah. Okay. Oh, you making it tough then, because see what that would be that some would say the woman is the reason why you're creating a Pookie, because the woman don't want you to be involved, and the woman would say I don't want you to be involved because you don't have no money, because not having money makes you a Pookie.
Now I think a lot of women just don't want them involved because they can't get their way with them.
Well, see, that's a terrible thing. See, we got to see again. That's a message that you could put out, because this is what I believe. I believe women, if you have sole custody or the custodial parent of your kids, the best thing that you can do is find them baby daddies and create relationship with them and the kids. That's the best thing you can do. If a man can have a relationship with his child, he will take care of it financially. He will all the way around.
The mothers that give custody to the fathers.
No, I'm not talking about give it away. I'm talking about build and promote relationship. See, child support is there, and anytime a man or anybody feels like your child is an invoice, or anytime you got a bill, nobody wants to pay bills all the time. And what's happened is the child support system has reduced our children to bills, their invoices. So every month you got to pay this invoice, and sometimes you want to skip it. But if you can build relationships with the father and the child, not with you, but make sure the child has a relationship with the father, then that father will not see that child as an invoice, and that situation will change. I promise you, ladies, make that happen. I can't help it if he's not the man that you laid down with anymore, but he's the one, he's the dad. Just suck it up. And he's going to always be the dad. So suck it up and make sure you help build a relationship with him and the child, especially if it's boy child, especially if it's a boy child with his dad. Force that relationship, even if you got to take the child, I hate to do this, but even if you got to take the child over there till that man can be better. Because see, all of this makes him better. When a man can stop beating on his chest, saying he's accomplished things, he'll continue to do so. So he'll fix that problem with not having a job and not having the money, because now he has responsibility, who is his child. He'll see that responsibility and he'll be like, I got to do this for my boy. And then he'll go, instead of him working 90 days, then he'll start, next time you hear, be working a year at the same place. And then once he does that, now he got a relationship with the child, because you've been taking the child over there and they've been playing and whatever, he getting into it and all that. Now he's got a job at the city. So now he got some benefits. So now you can put health care on him and all that. He's still beating his chest because now he's accomplishing something as a man, and you're helping him do that. I know you're mad at him because he did you wrong, but now,
boss, you know what I said? You always do you wrong. You know what I said, because the fact
I'm saying that's what she's saying.
Oh, okay.
Agreeing with it. I don't care. I don't care if you did you wrong or not. Now you got a baby. You got to make it right for the child, is what I'm saying.
You know what I say, for some situations, if they still can't work things out with the parent, with their significant other, then maybe they best to be co-parents. Well, I said for those single mothers that give custody to the fathers, and he will take them. So the fact that she complaining about how she struggled financially and everything, well, if she let him have custody, the kid live with him, she won't be struggling financially no more. She won't even have to rely on child support, because the child is living with him, and he will take the child. Most men would take their child. Now she go off and make more money and build that way, cut off child support because the child's living with him. He's already taking care of the child financially on his part.
Well, we got to get there, Mel. I don't. There shouldn't be any strife, and I'm with Just Jay on this. There shouldn't be, because remember, we got a child, so now we got to have some communication, and we have to be civil. And if the man is not financially able or capable at this moment, we have to. I hate to say it, ladies, but you got to build him up. We got to have value in him. He is your child's dad. He had some value at some time. And half your child belongs to him. So we got to continue to find what that value is and plug into it. And I know women might, you're talking about some humility, but you got to do it for your child, because children need the balance of both. And I'm telling you, when a man is starting to accomplish some things and he's feeling good about himself because he saw his son today, he got to hang out with his son on this weekend, he going to start beating himself on the chest. He's going to be that man. And that man will accomplish some things. I'm telling you, y'all, where he wouldn't complete a job or wouldn't work a job, he'll have a job for 90 days and then he'll get him another one. Then he'll have that one for a year. And then he'll get him a car. And then he's going to be that, because it's all about his confidence. And with his relationship as a father with his son, that's building up his confidence. Y'all picked him, y'all. So give him, and I know it's difficult and I know you don't feel like you have to do it, but it's your child. It's not about you. And it won't take long. It won't take long, but you have to put in the work. And we just have to do it. And again, like Mel said, in a minute, it won't be no need for the child support, because the man who's now beating on his chest because he's got a car, he got an apartment, guess what he going to get in a minute? He going to get him a woman, because some woman going to find him attractive. Mm-hmm. And then she's going to add to his life. Like Aaron said, she's going to add to his life. And then he's going to have all the necessities that he needs. And then he's going to continue to have that relationship with his child, which is a son, a daughter, whatever. And he's going to be a good man. He's no longer going to be a Pookie and Ray Ray. But sometimes people need help. But this war thing is over.
Another aspect, the women will move on also too, because unfortunately, so her relationship can be more better because the child's with the father. Doesn't have to worry about, her new man doesn't have to worry about baby daddy issues and all that stuff. She's at ease. She can focus on her new relationship while the father's focused on his new relationship. And that's how co-parents supposed to work. That way, both aspect.
You're talking about co-parenting. When child support comes, typically child support is for people who don't want to pay at all. They running. They talking about co-parenting. They just don't even want to be around. But listen, Army Vet said child support court, child visitation. I've lost it, y'all. Child visitate. I don't know.
Child visitation court destroys men financially and mentally.
Yeah, it does. That's why we're trying to build relationships so it won't destroy you. So you don't even have to be a part of it. But men, you got to be dialed in, and women, you got to be willing. And that is actually it. But listen, guys, Aaron, first things first. Aaron, make sure you send me that exercise program, that June challenge. I'm serious about this. Now, I'm serious about cutting it in half too, but I'm serious about you sending it to me too. sbshow2020@gmail.com. Black women are supposed to build the man. Hey, listen, let me just tell you what. You could call it what you want to. You could say build if you want to be the one that takes credit for something, I guess. I don't know if you're a woman. I don't know if this is, if a woman wants to take credit for building a man, I guess she can do that. I wouldn't even call it that. I would say it would be me feeding into my child's life to the father that helped me make him. Because at one time, me and this man was one. If it was nothing on making this baby, and I want my son or daughter to have the best version of themselves and example of a man and a woman, the best example of a man and a woman. And whatever I got to do to achieve that, that is what I want to do. So if that means I was fortunate enough as a woman to have an apartment, a car, a good paying job, and all of that, but the man that I chose to have a baby with didn't have it at the time. He might have been in between blessings. I'm going to take that kid that he and I made, and I'm going to take that kid to him on the weekend, on the holidays, or whatever it is, until he can do something different. But I am going to build this relationship here is going to be what y'all call it when you build something, y'all. Help me out. What's the word I'm looking for? There's going to be cultivated. This relationship is going to be cultivated. I'm not going to be over here in this house with this woman talking shit about the man that I went half on to build this baby, because he needs to see the best version Those kids need to see the best version of a man and the best version of a woman. And whatever I got to do to achieve that, I am going to do. It ain't about me and him no more. He don't want me or I don't want him. It's established, it's good, but we still have little people that we have to be concerned about. And so if that's a woman building a man, then okay. But I wouldn't think it would be that. It could be what you call encouragement. Because again, all you got to do is have that man have a responsibility or relationship with that son, and he'll then begin to see his role in that child's life, and it won't be no building going on. He gonna want to do it. He's gonna want that relationship, so he gonna want to be that man. So it won't take but a second for him to see that he's valuable. That's what you call adding value. So I hope.
I also add.
And I would add also, it's like, yo, just do what it takes. Just do whatever it takes to get the best results. Honestly, it's so much. When I heard that statement, it's so much pride in that statement. It's like, look, just do whatever it takes to make the best result. That's all we're trying to do. Don't matter.
Exactly. And I wanted to add this also too. Like,
how I mean, you created a baby with this man. How was he good enough to do that? And now, I mean, listen, guys, you got to have an example of a good woman and a good man for your children, so they can. It's time out for there are no examples anymore. It's time out for that. I don't want to hear that excuse anymore. So wait, it's a lot of things I'm tired of. Y'all might get tired of me one day, but it's okay. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. But first, I want to read Miss Washington's super chat. It's Joanna. It says, KS said that men must give women cover when she realizes she must be better. I agree. Good point. There needs to be a national I'm sorry day and move on. So the point that she's making is if men need to cover women when they fall off or don't do well, why is it that a woman can't fill in the gap or breathe life into the man until he can do better, especially when you done share a baby with him?
Exactly.
Thank you, Joanna. Especially. So again, y'all might get to breathe life into a strong man. Hey, let me tell you something about a strong man. I ain't gonna use the word strong. I'm gonna tell you something about a good man. A good man is not down for long, but he may be down. Understand that. I'm in love with an entrepreneur. So sometimes we have a business that does very, very well. We make lots and lots of money, but sometimes it all depends on the economy. It all depends on these systems. It all depends on these wars and what everybody else is doing in this world. You know, it all depends on that, whether we're up. Because my livelihood depends on the world. You know, I don't wait for somebody to give me a check, kind of, sort of. But y'all know what I mean. So we're up and down. But he's a good man, so he's not going to be down forever. But don't think that a good man won't be down. Yes, they do go down. You have to. I say this all the time. And ladies, if y'all not willing, y'all need to check the people y'all sleeping with. Because if y'all ain't willing to be homeless with them, stop sleeping with them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Stop sleeping with them. Sleep by yourself.
Win with me or lose with me.
Be as superficial as ever. You right. No, you can't. You have to. But listen, when kids are involved, we got to be better anyway. My skin glowing. Thank you. Is it sweat or is it glowing? Thank you, though. I try, y'all. But listen, guys, y'all have had me here way too long. Y'all done had me talking about Monique. I hope she don't come for me. Y'all, anybody like Monique, don't be telling her I talked about her today. And then
I want to drop a real good gem right now, real quick, before you end the show.
I'm trying to get
for the fellas.
But before we go, I want to share something with y'all. A lot of stuff, because this happened at the beginning of my show. And it's going to happen at the end. Y'all know that The Standard is back and it's coming on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Cheeky Banter will be discussing. I'm not telling y'all the topic. Y'all got to be there at 6 p.m. on Sunday. 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, The Standard. Cheeky Banter will be the person that's co-hosting, or I'm co-hosting with him on Sunday. So y'all got to be present to hear this. Also, the Bachelor for I Choose You has been named, and it is J.R. Wisdom. Y'all need to go check out J.R. Wisdom's platform. He's a content creator, lots of followers. He actually does a dating game. It's exciting. Y'all better go over and check. He does a lot of reaction videos and a lot of different, he talks about all things. Check him out. He's the new Bachelor for I Choose You. And listen, as always, it's been an outstanding show. 4 p.m. on Fridays is always a good Friday, and I appreciate all of y'all for being here. Aaron,
Hey,
SB Show 2020 at Gmail. Definitely, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna check back in with you every week and tell you what I did and how I did it. You're gonna be my half accountability partner. So you can't hold me to nothing but half, right?
all right, I got you.
All right, y'all. Listen, thank you so much for being here, chat. Y'all have always, as always, been a part of this live, and I appreciate you so much. And again, I will see y'all on Sunday. So be there for the standard. All right. Have a good night. And thank you, Mel. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on Sunday. Aaron, we'll see you on Sunday. Y'all have a good night.
Have a blessed day.
You screaming, stay, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to foe. It's so different with distance we roam into zones where nothing get heard anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove your away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my to death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Now you crying, and I'm trying to find the reasons. So I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.